All right, you and I are watching our guy starve, and literally bled too. Help his 7 ungrateful adopted sisters become absolute elites in their fields. And his ultimate reward, they literally kicked him out like some random stray dog that peed on their precious rug. It was right then he realized he was always just a placeholder now that the actual true young master of the Lincoln family got found. Our hero was tossed onto the streets instantly. He just stared right at the $500,000 check on the table, raising an eyebrow. What is the meaning here? Eldest sister Claire Lincoln, the absolute Ice Queen CEO, coldly replied. With zero emotion, when our father was alive, you took care of him, but now that he is dead, you have zero reason to stay here. This money is just your severance package, so he is officially being evicted. He let out a dry laugh, glaring at her. Did you honestly think you had any right to stay? Claire's voice dropped another 10 degrees. Everything the Lincoln family owns today was entirely built by the 7 of us. What did you ever actually do besides playing a cheap nurse? For the old man, we are done here. Do not make this ugly. And do the rest of you actually agree? Our guy swept his gaze across the other 6 sisters. We took a vote. You lost, Claire snapped impatiently. Do not force me to say anything that will hurt your fragile feelings. He looked up, his eyes locking on the massive family portrait on the wall. Hundreds of photos scattered around this huge house, and not a single one included him. Taking care of Mr. Lincoln was simply his duty, he replied, glancing down at the check. He did not need their pathetic charity. This was originally his anyway, but from today forward, all ties are fully cut. Lose my number. The vicious betrayal stung deeply, blending into an incredibly heavy cocktail of pure heartbreak. Stick with me here. He silently bled for this family for a decade just to get booted. They did not deserve him. He spun on his heel and marched straight toward the door. Third sister, Tracy Lincoln, suddenly stood up, her voice dripping with absolute disgust. You leached off the Lincoln family wealth for over 10 years, and you still have the nerve to be ungrateful. We are the ones who should feel completely cheated. You are just a nasty parasite living off our hard work. You have no right to act high and mighty. He paused, turning back to give her a brutally deadpan stare. Sure, whatever helps you sleep at night. Get out, she scoffed loudly, glaring at him like he was absolute trash. Get out of our sight. Oh, do not worry, you will soon see who the real parasite is, he said, stepping out of the Lincoln mansion. Hold it right there. Hand over the check right outside the gates. A blonde teenager suddenly lunged right at him, one hand in his pocket, the other sticking out like a brat demanding candy. That is Lincoln family money. Do not even think about taking a single dime. He frowned. The 500,000 Claire gave him. The blonde kid sneered. Do not make me get physical. By the way, the name is Kevin Lincoln, the true biological son of the dead old man inside. Fact is, kicking you to the curb was my one condition for returning. Ah, Kevin Lincoln, you and I know. Our guy finally pieced it all perfectly together. Years ago, just because you tried to creep on the 4th sister, the old man exiled you. Now that he is dead, you suddenly crawl back. He chuckled coldly. You are not getting that 500,000. As for the Lincoln family wealth, he would be taking everything back. Kevin's ugly face darkened. He pulled his hand from his pocket, entirely ready to swing. Leo casually sidesteps, grabs him by the collar, and just lifts him right off the ground like a helpless kitten. If you were not his son, you would be a chalk outline right now, Leo whispers coldly. Remember that. You only get this one single free pass. He tosses Kevin onto the pavement, gives his groaning body a polite nod, and walks away. Soon after, his phone buzzes. Boss, a deep voice says on the other end, tomorrow, tech and media stocks, they will completely skyrocket. Also, in room 108 on East Street, a wanted fugitive is hiding out. From today on, no need to report to me anymore, Leo interrupts, looking up at the sky. For over a decade, his entire heart and soul were dedicated to that family. You see, Leo was born with a rare terminal cold poison condition. Though the old man extended his life, he only has about 1 year left. Now he is going to finally live for himself. Minutes later, Leo pulls a crumpled piece of paper right from his pocket and heads to the address scribbled down. This was the absolute final. Relic old man Lincoln left him before dying. Meanwhile, back at the massive Lincoln mansion, the seven sisters and their adoptive mother, Victoria, come rushing right out. The front door. Kevin, sweetie, are you okay? Victoria wails, dropping right to her knees to cuddle him. That ungrateful little punk has some nerve. Mom, I'm perfectly fine, Kevin whines, holding his bruised face. Leo's just mad because I took his spot. Should we have let him stay? Claire frowns, grinding her teeth. I really did not expect him to be such a violent thug. You made the right call, eldest sister. The second sister, Rachel Lincoln, sighs in total disappointment. Keeping him around would only put Kevin in danger. Victoria glares at Rachel. The only son of this family got assaulted, and you are just going to stand there. Rachel, I'm leaving this to you. Find Leo and make him apologize to Kevin. Rachel reluctantly nods, pushing up her glasses. Fine. Now at the beautiful view apartment complex. Spoiler for us, the view is definitely not beautiful. Leo stands before rundown peeling building. After making absolutely sure he had not read the address wrong, he knocks on a rusty door. It creaks open. A middle-aged man in a tank top, sporting a hunched back and holding a massive meat cleaver, peeks out very cautiously. Uncle Harry, Leo asks. Harry's eyes light up like a Christmas tree. Young master. Leo, the wife is here. Look who it is. He hastily puts the cleaver away and swings the rusty door wide open. Sorry for the mess. Didn't know you were dropping by. Uncle Harry, I'm not a young master anymore, Leo says, ducking right into the cramped, dimly lit apartment. They kicked me out. I'm officially a totally homeless orphan now. Harry freezes, then bursts into a hearty laugh. Well, if you really don't mind the tight squeeze, you can stay with us. Harry, what are you babbling about? His wife, Aunt Lily, hurries out, carrying a plate of sad, wrinkled apples. Knowing the Lincoln sisters, they will probably come begging Leo to return tomorrow. Uncle Harry, what happened to your leg? Leo asks, looking closely. From the wilted apples to his pronounced limp, it is obvious they are really struggling to make ends meet. Oh, don't get me started. Lily begins, but Harry immediately barks. Enough. Leo's eyes flash with a hint of danger. Uncle Harry, who did this? Leo grabs his hands, his tone dead serious. Don't hide it from me. Harry sighs, lighting a cheap cigarette. Old man Lincoln, his kindness to me was higher than mountains. I should not speak ill, but years ago when Kevin tried assaulting Leo's sister, Uncle Harry caught him and warned the old man. The patriarch kicked Kevin out. From then on, Madame Victoria absolutely hated Harry's guts. Harry took a long drag. A year later, she sent goons to completely crush his leg while unloading cargo. She even threatened his daughter's life. Hearing this, Leo shook his head. He knew Victoria despised him, but he never actually expected her to be this unbelievably evil. Uncle Harry, I left quickly, so I only have a little cash. Take this for now. Leo pulled out a thick stack of bills and placed them on the table. Leo, what are you doing? Harry quickly tried to shove the cash back into Leo's pockets. I don't like you just because you're a rich kid. Act like this and you can leave. All right, my bad. Leo smiled gently, taking the cash back, feeling a totally unfamiliar, genuine warmth spreading through his chest. Right then, a cheerful college girl wearing a backpack bounced into the room. Hazel. Look who's here. Harry beamed at his daughter. Brother Leo, what in the world are you doing here? Hazel practically tackled Leo with a massive hug. Just missed you, that's all. He patted her head, catching that faint, familiar scent of floral shampoo. I'm heading out to buy groceries. Leo, if you don't mind, stay for dinner. Harry nervously scraped together a few crumpled bills from the drawer and limped right out the door. Brother Leo, how did you find us? Hazel chirped, playfully pouting. I honestly thought I'd never see you again. I got kicked out, nowhere else to go. Leo gave her the quick version of his story. Suddenly, a massive commotion erupted outside, quickly followed by violently loud pounding on the door. Aunt Lily instantly grabbed a heavy meat cleaver. Completely hyperventilating, Hazel, take Leo to the back room right now. Leo, come with me. Hazel grabbed his hand, desperately trying to pull him away. No need. Leo narrowed his eyes, freezing aura rolling right off his shoulders. From today on, this is my home too, he swung that door wide open. A thug wearing a gaudy floral shirt and a thick gold chain stood right there. He froze seeing our MC, then forced a totally fake, nervous smile. Young Master Leo, what wind blew you here? He's no longer a young master. Coldly familiar female voice echoed from the hallway. Rachel Lincoln, wearing a sharp black trench coat and gold-rimmed glasses, came clicking her Valentino heels. She literally appeared. Like a final boss, listen to this. As of today, Leo has zero connection to the Lincoln family. Seeing her, Leo's expression barely shifted at all. Don't try to act friendly. Rachel snapped, pushing up her glasses, her voice pure ice. You're not a Lincoln anymore. Stop using our family name to play gangster. Sure thing, Leo smoothly replied. Casually, so Dr. Lincoln, what brings you to this fine establishment? Go back and apologize to Kevin, Rachel demanded. Do that, and I'll give you 500,000, with that cash you won't starve, and you can solve whatever absolute mess this is. She gestured vaguely at the thugs. Hazel was furious. Just because you have money means you can bully honest people. Who do you think you are? Rachel frowned. Is it your turn to speak? She turned back to Leo, her eyes absolutely dripping with pure condescension. Leo, even if the family doesn't want you, you really don't have to stoop so low as to mingle with this lower-class trash. Dr. Lincoln, Leo cut right in, his voice dangerously soft. I'd really appreciate it if you showed some basic human respect. Is this how the old man taught you to behave, or did you just skip that class? He stepped closer, staring her down completely. What exactly defines lower class? Being poor? Does having a fancy hospital title make you royalty? Honestly, you remind. All right, let's watch this unfold. He tells her to remember her place, without the old man taking her in. She would still be some abandoned brat shivering on the sidewalk. Leo. Rachel gasps, stumbling back in shock. She points a trembling finger right at him. Has he said enough? She claims these people are ungrateful thieves who robbed them blind, bringing up ancient history. Leo demands proof, or are they taking Victoria's word as absolute gospel? He crosses his arms. No proof, then apologize right this second, because starting from today this is his house. Nobody disrespects his people at all. Rachel just laughs out of sheer anger. Fine, she sarcastically apologizes for what she said. Let us see how he protects them now, tough guy. Her offer still stands. Apologize to Kevin and she will help him fix all this. Miss Lincoln, are you totally serious? The floral shirt thug asks him cautiously. Leo got kicked out. He is nothing to them. Even if she helps, it is strictly a transaction. Rachel replies coldly. Got it, Doc. The brutal thug immediately cracks his knuckles, glaring straight at Aunt Lily. Where is his money? Old lady, the thugs quickly surround Leo. Our guy tilts his head. What is going on? Right here. Aunt Lily wipes away her tears. When Harry broke his leg, she borrowed $3,000 from them for surgery. Less than a month later, suddenly they owed $10,000. They paid back over $300,000 over 10 years, but the debt keeps growing. They still owe $300,000. When are they paying? The thug roars. Just then Harry gets dragged right up the stairs. Stumbling hard, he falls to his knees before the thug. He begs. They have absolutely nothing left. Shut up, old man, the ruthless thug threatens. If they do not pay up, they are taking the daughter. Hey Leo, if he agrees to the Doc's deal, he takes $500,000 to clear it. Rachel looks at Leo, a victorious smirk playing on her lips. Last chance, Leo. If he declines, he better not come crying to her. Leo thanks the doc but prefers doing things his own way. Watch this. Before anyone can blink, our MC launches a brutal front kick directly into floral shirt's chest. The thug flies backward like a cannonball, completely crashing straight out the third floor window and landing hard on the pavement below. Do not worry, the thug broke his fall with his own face. Dead silence. Rachel is completely horrified. Is Leo absolutely insane? Does he think throwing a tantrum makes people pity him? Leo asks if, in her eyes, he is really that useless. He glances back at her, his eyes freezing over. If she changes her mind, go complain to Claire. Rachel stomps off, fuming, Harry tells Leo. To run, the old man tears his shirt to pull out crumpled bills. He does not have much. Take this and run. These guys are connected. Hazel begs Leo to run. They will not let him go. Hazel sobs, holding his arm. He says take Uncle Harry and Aunt Lily inside, lock the doors and windows, and do not open them no matter what they hear outside. Understand? He ruffles her hair, speaking gently. He never lies to her. He is going to sort this out and be back for dinner without a single scratch. Okay, she trusts him. Hazel stands on her tiptoes and presses a soft, quick kiss right to his lips. Books say a first kiss brings good luck. She will be waiting for him to eat the food. She cooks, she wipes her tears and hurries inside. The exact moment the door clicks shut, the soft smile vanishes from Leo's face, completely replaced by absolute zero. He pulls out his phone and dials a number. They have 10 minutes to get their boys to the beautiful view apartments. If they are late, they know exactly what happens. Meanwhile, at the Lincoln Mansion, stick with me here. Rachel complains to her sister. She storms into the living room, aggressively throwing her purse on the sofa. He had the nerve to lecture. You and I are jumping right in. Apologize to nobodies. The humiliation was absolutely insane. Back in the living room, total tension. 5 sisters sitting on the couches, completely silent. Faces stone cold. Meanwhile, Claire was pacing the room, absolutely losing it. She screamed into her phone, I pay you millions for results, not for stupid excuses. No more apologies, fix the portfolio, if we are bleeding money tomorrow morning. You are all completely fired, Rachel whispered nervously. What is going on? Her portfolio crashed today. Massive losses, 7th sister Valerie whispered right back. She is furious. Rachel was completely shocked, but Claire's investments never lose money. Exactly, that is why she is exploding over this multi-million-dollar dip today. Valerie mumbled. Claire violently slammed her phone down and whipped around. What are you two whispering about? How did it go with Leo? Rachel just sighed. He is way too proud to apologize, and before I left, he literally tossed a local loan shark right out of a 3rd-story window. The sisters totally gasped in shock. Has Leo gone totally crazy? He must be triggered, one sister noted. Maybe we were too ruthless. Regardless, he is dead to this family now. Claire snapped coldly, her harsh voice leaving zero room for argument. The living room fell into dead silence. Suddenly, the house phone rang out loudly. Claire. Put it on speaker, CEO Lincoln. I heard you kicked Leo out. A raspy voice growled over the speaker. Yes, why? Claire asked him completely coldly. He just crippled one of my guys. Since he lost your protection, I will handle him using street rules. Do not come crying to me later. Click, Valerie. Panicked immediately. Eldest sister, that was Tyron from the west side. He is ruthless. Is Leo going to survive? He brought this upon himself, playing the tough guy. He can face the harsh consequences, Claire said stubbornly. I warned you before. No one mentions his name in this house again. She marched right upstairs. Inside her bedroom, Claire was an absolute mess. That massive financial hit triggered her. Chronic insomnia, something she had not dealt with in years. She rubbed her temples tiredly, reaching for a random magazine on her nightstand. She flipped a few pages, frowned, and instantly called her maid. Auntie Leu, what is wrong? With this magazine, the maid looked completely nervous. I am sorry, miss. I do not understand. For years, the young master picked the magazines for your bedside. Since he left, I just grabbed a random one. Claire completely froze. She waved the maid away. Could it be true? Was her flawless stock streak somehow tied directly to Leo? She scrambled to pull out all those old magazines he left behind, frantically cross-referencing them with past data. Now you and I watch her reality break. She sat on the floor, totally stunned. She finally realized that out of 20 stocks casually highlighted in his magazines every single night, 10 would skyrocket the very next morning. The other 10 stayed perfectly stable. her genius Wall Street success had been secretly spoon-fed to her by Leo this whole time. No, absolutely impossible. Claire shook her head frantically. I have to prove my success comes from me. And my team, nobody else. She stood up, eyes completely conflicted, and marched out. Tracy, you are a cop. Take a drive down there. Just make sure he does not die. Let them break his legs, but he stays alive long enough to apologize to Kevin. Outside, under the night sky at the beautiful view. All right, watch closely. Over a dozen cargo trucks violently screech to a halt. Nearly 100 thugs pour out, swinging steel pipes, ready for total chaos. Tonight gets educational. Baldy Tyron steps up, wearing his signature ridiculously tight. Floral shirt, his lip twitches. Someone dared to attack my men on Westside turf. Tonight, I am going to show these absolute peasants exactly what happens. When you mess with me, Leo, get out here, Tyron roars. SHH, keep it down, the neighbors are sleeping. Leo smiles casually, stepping right out from the shadows. I heard Claire kicked your sorry butt to the curb, Tyron sneers. Lighting a cigar, is that true? You heard right. Leo nods calmly. If you're not a Lincoln anymore, where did you find the guts to touch my guys? Tyron flicks his ash, chuckling darkly. You are the first idiot to disrespect me. On my turf, if you survive tonight, I will look like a total joke. If you cannot just look like a joke, then be one, Leo replies. Without warning, he delivers a massive spinning kick. Tyron is caught completely off guard, launched 15 feet into the air, landing with a sickening thud and spitting out a mouthful of blood. Leo, without the Lincolns, you are nothing. Tyron wheezes in total agony. Hack him to pieces. Who said I need the Lincolns anyway? Leo casually dusts off his jacket. The West Side is my territory. I have 100 men. Tyron roars. I have money. I have power. What do you have to fight me with? Tyron screams, his men charging forward. I want you dead. Leo doesn't even flinch. He just smiles and tilts his head. Look behind you. A man in a sharp black suit parts the sea of thugs, walks up to Leo and drops straight to one knee. Greetings, boss. Tyron wipes the blood from his mouth and laughs hard. Leo, do you think I am 3? You hired an actor to scare me. Boys, show him what real power looks like. Leo just looks at him with pure pity. The suited man stands up, firing a flare gun straight into the night sky. As the flare illuminates the area, the ground begins to tremble. Boss, is it an earthquake? One of the thugs stammers, looking down at his feet. An earthquake in the middle of the city. Tyron yells. Leo, stop playing parlor tricks. Go see what is happening. He shoves a grunt forward. 30 seconds pass. The grunt never comes back. Tyron gulps hard, gripping his steel pipe. Follow me, but his men do not move forward. They are backing up. Tyron aggressively shoves his way to the front of his pack, and when he sees what is waiting, cold sweat instantly beads on his bald head, blocking the entire street. Are men in tailored black suits. Not 10, not 50, so many that they fade straight into the darkness down the block. This is absolutely impossible. Tyron stammers, horrified. Now get this. Leo casually strolls past the paralyzed gang of thugs. Suddenly, thousands of men in black suits drop to one knee in perfect, terrifying unison. Leo closes his eyes, slowly spreading his arms wide. Years ago, he had secretly built this syndicate from the ground up, hoping that one day, when the old man passed, he could use it to protect the Lincoln family. But now, that family didn't need him. Take out the trash, he orders coldly. Swinging, thousands of machetes are drawn simultaneously. That sheer metallic hiss alone makes half of Tyron's thugs collapse in fear. In less than 5 seconds, these thugs are entirely convinced to reconsider. Wild right. You and I are watching them instantly regret everything, swallowed by black suits. No time. Not even a chance to scream. Tyron, completely pale, he just collapses right to his knees, shaking like crazy. Boss, I was blind. Please spare me, he started, slamming his head into the concrete, begging. I'll be your dog, your absolute horse, anything. Let's be real. Leo was totally unimpressed. In this city, there is no Leo. There is only the boss. Speak. Why were you harassing Uncle Harry, it was your adoptive mother's orders, Tyron babbled, shaking like an absolute. Leaf Victoria paid me $5 million to make his life a living hell. The Lincolns are way too powerful. I just followed orders. Boss, if that evil witch kicked you out, just spare me and I will help you teach her a lesson. He slammed his head even harder against the ground. Give me a chance. Leo just stared at this pathetic guy. He reached out. Blake, his suited right-hand man, handed him a suppressed pistol. Pew, Tyron was swiftly given a permanent dirt nap. Boss, Tracy. Lincoln is driving this way. She will be here in 5 minutes, Blake whispered. Checking his phone, Leo chuckled coldly, shaking his head. Coming to collect my corpse. I bet Blake cleaned this up. From tomorrow on, Tyron's territory is yours. My rules are now the city's rules. Leo pulled a silk handkerchief from his pocket. He wiped some imaginary dust off his hands and headed for the stairs. Understood, Blake nodded. The thousands of suited men vanished like a retreating tide. They dragged the sleeping thugs away, leaving the street completely spotless. Meanwhile, upstairs, Uncle Harry could not take the suspense anymore. He grabbed his meat cleaver and threw the door open, ready to go down. Swinging, our MC had just raised his hand to knock. Leo, are you okay? Harry gasped, looking Leo up and down. Never better. It was all a massive misunderstanding. Leo smiled reassuringly. We talked it out. Tyron decided to find a new hobby and left. We can live in peace now. He left. Harry scratched his head, totally bewildered. Are we eating yet? I am starving. Leo patted his stomach. Breezing right past him into the apartment, Hazel practically tackled Leo, tears her eyes. I knew you wouldn't lie to me. Realizing she was hugging him a bit too tightly in front of her parents, she blushed hard and let go. Let's eat, let's eat. Come sit, we are having a drink tonight. Harry excitedly pulled out a dusty bottle of cheap liquor and poured Leo a glass. Thanks, Uncle. Leo raised his glass, accidentally catching Hazel's gaze. What, got your eye on my daughter? Harry boomed with laughter. Tell you what, when Hazel graduates, you two should just get married. Stick with me here, down at the beautiful view apartments. A white Mercedes slammed on its brakes. Tracy Lincoln kicked the door open. She looked around the slightly messy street, her nose wrinkling in absolute disgust. She caught a faint whiff of copper in the air. As a cop, she knew the smell of blood. Fearing the worst, Tracy sprinted right up the stairs and practically hammered on the door. Inside, Harry nearly jumped out of his skin, grabbing the cleaver again. Did Tyron come back? Relax, Tyron promised me he is never coming back, Leo said, calmly checking his watch. He stood up and opened the door. Leo, what are you doing here? Tracy stared at him, totally stunned to find him alive and completely intact, not dead. Did you need something? Leo asked flatly. If not, do not interrupt my dinner. Leo, you have got some nerve. Tracy scowls hard. Is that how you talk to me? Why wouldn't I? Leo fires back. Who are you? The Queen of England. Does everyone bow for you? Boom. Leo just slams the door right in her face. Leo, I came here out of pure pity, and this is how you repay me. Tracy screams at the wood, totally furious. She stomps heavily back downstairs. I do not believe you can survive in this absolute dump. When you come crawling back crying, I will make you regret this. Getting back into her luxury car, Tracy angrily calls her assistant. Check on Tyron's movements tonight. I need a full report by morning. It is 2 a.m. by the time Tracy gets back to the massive mansion. The lights are blazing. Valerie, aren't you supposed to have an art show tomorrow? Why are you still awake? Tracy asks, spotting her seventh sister painting intensely in the living room. The colors are completely wrong. Valerie rips the canvas off the easel, destroying it in pure frustration. I have been adjusting this all night and it still looks wrong. How did you manage before? Tracy asks, grabbing a cold soda from the fridge. Valerie completely freezes up. She suddenly remembers that whenever she painted before, Leo was always right there sitting beside her. He did not just praise her art. The guy actually mixed her paints himself. Valerie, you good? Tracy waves a hand right in her face. I am fine, Valerie forces a bitter smile. Leo really is an ungrateful jerk. the more I think about it, the angrier I get, right? Tracy nods. He completely sucked up to stay in the house, and the second he leaves, he turns on us. But wait, third sister, Valerie, bites her lip hard. Why do we always assume the absolute worst? Could it be he actually cared about us? Tracy looks completely stunned. Valerie, I am warning you. He is not our brother. Our only brother is Kevin. If Mom hears you talking, she will completely lose it. But do you ever consider Leo's actual feelings? Valerie shakes her head, grabbing her easel and heading upstairs. Up in the massive master bedroom, Claire is tossing and turning in serious agony. Eldest sister, are you feeling any better? Rachel asks, looking super worried by the bed. I gave you those heavy sleeping pills. They should kick in soon. As the elite vice president of the city hospital, this is the very first time Rachel feels entirely useless. Go home, Rachel. I will be fine resting right here. Claire forces a weak smile, waving her off and closing her tired eyes. Rest well, Rachel sighs, turning off the lights and shutting the heavy door, walking through the huge kitchen. Rachel spots Claire's teacup sitting right on the counter. She subconsciously picks it up for a sniff. Herbal medicine. Second miss needs something. The maid asks quietly, who brewed this tea? Rachel demands, holding out the cup. Why? Young Master Leo did. The maid answers carefully. Every night he brewed a cup and tell me to serve the eldest miss. Since he was gone tonight, I just made some random tea. Rachel's face instantly darkens. Do not tell anyone this. Understand? She pours the remaining liquid into a vial, fully intending to take it to the hospital lab. You and I are about to see what Leo really gave her. The next morning, Valerie quietly drives her Mini Cooper away from the huge estate, even though her sisters warned her about how trashy Leo's new area was. The reality of this rundown apartment block still completely shocks her. Fighting her discomfort, she stands right in front of the peeling door. As it opens, she panics and runs down the stairs, crashing right into someone. Sorry, I am so sorry. Valerie looks up and freezes. It's Leo, casually carrying a plastic bag of soy milk and fried dough for his breakfast. Did you come here to force me to apologize to Kevin too? Leo asks, his face totally blank. No, Valerie shakes her head frantically. Whether you believe it or not, I had no part in kicking you out, so you just stood by and watched. Got it? Leo gives a cold smirk. No, I know. Living here must be awful and you must hate us. Let me stop you right there. Leo cuts her off instantly. I don't hate you at all. Actually, I want to thank you. You guys really helped me figure out who actually gives a damn about me and who totally doesn't. If you don't have any actual business here, please stay out of my life. He walks past her, heading straight upstairs. Leo, wait. Valerie summons all her courage and chases after him. My exhibition is in 2 hours. Wish me luck. Good luck, Leo replies, completely flatly. This exhibition is really important to me, but I just can't get the colors right, she mumbles, looking super embarrassed. And that's my problem. Because Leo glances at his breakfast. It's getting cold. Could you just help me mix the paint one last time? Just once, I'm begging you. Valerie's eyes well up with heavy tears. Do you know why the flowers in your paintings are always so vibrantly red? Leo asks. She shakes her head. How could you? Because that red is my blood. He watches her jaw completely hit the floor. I studied under the old master. I scoured the city to find the best ingredients for your paints. Even your canvases were custom ordered by me. Valerie stands there, looking like she had been struck by actual lightning. Funny, isn't it? Leo mocks himself. Over a decade in that house, and did any of you ever bother to notice what I was actually doing? Tears stream down Valerie's face. She turns away in a daze. Wait, Leo calls out. You'll help me. Valerie wipes her eyes, a spark of hope igniting. Valerie, you wouldn't want your 6 sisters and Victoria finding out you snuck over here, right? Leo smirks coldly. Leo, are you crazy? What do you want? Valerie backs away in sheer panic, unable to believe her ears. Even if we aren't blood, I'm still your sister. Are you trying to blackmail me? Leo raises an eyebrow. Don't flatter yourself. I just have 2 rules. 1. Whatever you heard today stays with you. 2. Your family raised me. Sure, but I paid that debt in full. From today, we are dead to each other. Valerie freezes, sobbing totally uncontrollably. Leo, you used to never be like this, she chokes out. The old Leo is dead, he says, turning his back and walking away. This is the bed you made. From now on, Leo is history in this city. Valerie runs to her car, collapses onto the steering wheel, and cries her eyes out. After breakfast, you and I watch Leo take the bus to drop Hazel off. At school, he feels absolutely zero pity for Valerie's tears the moment he walked out of those Lincoln gates. He knew he could never forgive them. Brother Leo used to be a young master, and now you're squeezing onto a crowded bus with me. Hazel beams, her face radiating pure joy. Just wait, when I graduate and make money, I'll buy you a house, a car, and be your sugar mama. Leo laughs, flicking her forehead. And what is your boyfriend going to say about that? What boyfriend? Hazel puts her hands on her hips, glaring playfully at him. Hey, you already stole my first kiss. Are you trying to dodge responsibility? Leo is totally ambushed. When was he ever the guilty party? He throws his hands up in defense. Hazel's face turns beet red. She starts playfully pummeling his chest with her. You hooligan, I am telling my dad, Hazel threatens. Right then, the bus arrives. Leo quickly pulls her aboard, narrowly dodging her tiny fists. Once they grab a seat, he tests the waters. Hey, what if I moved your whole family into a massive, luxurious house? Would they agree? Hazel's face instantly drops. Did you take money from the Lincolns? A single dime. Leo just shakes his head. Hazel lets out a massive sigh of relief. Even if we starve, we reject their charity, after what those snobs did too. You, my parents would rather sleep outside, but what if the money is actually mine? Leo asks. Hazel blinks in total disbelief. Would my dad ever believe that? Leo just smiles helplessly. Fair point. How could a guy kick to the curb with zero cash suddenly be loaded? Now you and I know the truth, but he must ease her family into his bank account. Reality. Look, Leo drops his backpack onto his lap and slowly unzips it. Holy. Hazel's eyes practically bug out, completely terrified but amazed. Inside the bag are perfectly neat stacks of cash, easily a few $100,000. Brother Leo, you didn't do anything illegal, did you? She whispers, her eyes turning totally red. What goes on in that crazy head of yours? Leo sighs. Yesterday, after I convinced Tyron to leave, he realized he was totally unfair to your family and returned the cash. Principal plus interest, $400K, this is yours. Tyron was that easy to talk to? Hazel mutters with heavy suspicion, pouting. I didn't know he was such a reasonable guy. If I give this to your dad, he will absolutely refuse to take it, Leo says, shoving the heavy bag into her arms. You handle it. Early morning arrives outside the gates of the city foreign language university. Hazel and Leo just step onto the beautiful campus when a preppy guy holding a massive bouquet of flowers struts right over. Hazel, is this your brother? The wealthy guy, dripping in designer clothes, eyes Leo up and down like he is a cheap stain. No, he is my boyfriend. Hazel smoothly links her arm through Leo's, flashing a brilliant fake smile. Can I help you? No, not really. I just bought these on the way here. The guy's face visibly twitches as he forces a smile. Meet Tyler Sterling. He has been chasing Hazel for 6 whole months with zero success. His polite smile turns downright sinister. I won't bother you guys then. Tyler turns away immediately, quickly pulling out his phone to text. That little brat wants to play hard to get. Fine, the hard way it is. Stick with me, folks. In a dark alley just outside the campus, a sleek black Mercedes suddenly screeches to a halt right beside Leo. The doors fly open. Tyler steps right out of the back, flanked by 2 absolutely massive bodyguards. Remember the name Tyler Sterling? He sneers, waving a dismissive hand. The 2 goons crack their heavy knuckles and lunge straight at Leo. I do not care what your relationship is with Hazel, Tyler mocks, keeping his hands casually in his pockets. Today, you're getting an education. If I ever see your ugly face around this campus again, you'll get a repeat lesson. He smugly pops 2 buttons on his expensive shirt, Know why I picked this alley? Why? Leo asks, looking totally bored. Because there are 0 cameras here. Tyler gives a terribly self-satisfied smirk. I can beat you to a pulp and you won't have any proof. But here is where things get wild. Leo instantly moves. He grabs both massive bodyguards by the backs of their heads and slams them face first. Right into the hard brick wall. Crack, they crumble to the ground like wet noodles. Tyler's eyes bug out in pure shock like he just saw a ghost. What do you think you're doing? Leo just grabs him by his perfectly styled hair and slams his. Tyler's face slams straight into the Merced's windshield. The glass instantly shatters into a massive spiderweb. Tyler goes completely limp on the hood, face absolutely wrecked. Our guy calmly wipes a drop of blood off his hand, turns around, and disappears down the alleyway. Meanwhile, right behind the school, a pack of mean girls totally blocks Hazel's path. Wendy, the student council president, smirks. Hazel, someone reported you for stealing cash. Time for a search. Who reported me? Hazel frowns. Doesn't matter. The money is definitely on you. Take your jacket off. Wendy demands, crossing her arms like she already won. She's hated Hazel forever. And now she has the principal's backing to make her life a living hell. If you want to search me, call the cops. Hazel tries pushing past the group. Move, I have class. We all know your parents are broke, Wendy sneers. A crippled dad and a totally useless mom. If you need cash so badly with a pretty face like yours, go sell yourself. Hazel's eyes snap red. She launches a lightning-fast kick straight into Wendy's chest. Wendy shrieks and falls backward. Get her right now. She screams. 6 student council lackeys swarm Hazel, and 2 of them are easily pushing 200 pounds. Been itching for a fight, haven't you? Hazel grits her teeth, yanking a solid wooden baton straight out of her bag. Half a minute later, Hazel wipes a streak of blood off her lip, limping toward her classroom. Right behind her, those girls are writhing on the ground, groaning in absolute pain, sporting some highly customized facial injuries. Stop right there. A couple of security guards run over, looking totally grim. Come with us to the office. Meanwhile, at the clubhouse, now watch this. Our MC is dressed in a sharp black suit, leading a procession of dozens of men. Flanking the massive entrance are rows of uniformed guards radiating pure killer aura. Boss, the gang leaders of the West Side are all waiting in the conference room, Blake whispers. They're being stubborn, refusing to cooperate. Our guy chuckles coldly. Tyron is dead. What do they think they can actually do? He shoves the double doors open. The loud, chaotic arguing inside instantly dies down. Dozens of eyes lock straight onto him. He casually strolls over to Tyron's old seat at the head of the table, sits down, and sweeps this absolute freezing gaze over the room. Tyron is out of the picture from today. On the West Side belongs to me. Anyone got a problem with that? A middle-aged boss stands up, scoffing hard. Based on what? Word is you're just a piece of trash. The Lincoln family threw out. A few mocking chuckles echo through the room. The Lincoln family's stray dog wants to play mob boss, but before the laughter even finishes, our MC unsheathes a katana straight from Blake's hands and swings. Slash. The loudmouth suddenly finds himself completely lacking a right arm. Blood paints the mahogany table. He instantly falls to his knees, screaming in pure agony as he gets dragged out of the room by the guards. The conference room goes totally dead silent. The bosses who were mocking him a second ago now look like they are attending their own funerals. Any other objections? Our guy leans back in his chair, very slowly sliding the bloody katana back into its scabbard. Pure silence, no objections. Good, the West Side is mine. Anyone who betrays me will find their entire family taking an early retirement 6 feet underground. Just then, a guard rushes in. Boss, a guy named Thomas Sterling wants to see the second boss. Cole, should I let him in? Here is the thing, our guy already ran a deep background check on the idiot Tyler Sterling, because anyone who threatens Hazel has absolutely zero even breathing the same air. Meanwhile, Thomas Sterling paced anxiously outside the massive clubhouse. He was furious. Beside him stood his son, Tyler, head completely wrapped in Thick bandages like a literal mummy. Dad, I want my revenge right now, Tyler hissed. Through a completely swollen jaw. Relax, I called the underworld, I will handle. This, Thomas huffed angrily. Nobody touches my son and lives to tell about it. The heavy doors finally creaked open. The boss invites you inside, a guard muttered. Thomas frowned. Leaning toward his son, who is this boss? When did the West Side get a guy? Simply called the boss. Inside the meeting room, the tension was absolutely suffocating. You could basically slice it, but Thomas ignored that, marching straight ahead. Up to the second in command, Cole, aggressively grabbing him. My son got nearly killed. Thomas practically barked, I need you to eliminate the guy who did this. Paying $1 million. Tyler dropped to his knees, acting dramatic. Uncle Cole, just look. What that psycho did to me, you have to help me get payback, the Sterlings were. Now you and I know they had legitimate money, but for a real hit. They needed the West Side underworld. Thomas showed up personally because he could not stand seeing his precious boy hurt. Once that guy is dead, I am making Hazel my personal toy, Tyler thought. A disgusting smirk formed under those bandages. My life is only worth $1 million. Our guy's cold voice cut through the room. Tyler looked up, his eyes nearly popping out of his skull. He pointed a violently trembling finger right at him. Dad, that is him. He did this to me. Cole, Thomas barked, but Cole had already dropped to his knees, sweating buckets. Boss, I swear I do not know these guys at all. What are you doing? Thomas was completely baffled. The notoriously ruthless Cole was absolutely terrified of him. I do not know you people. Cole practically screamed, desperate to cut all ties. The meeting room doors slammed shut. The atmosphere was a complete powder keg. Whoever helps me kill this kid gets $5 million. Thomas slammed his hand on the table, screaming at the room. Nobody moved a single muscle. You think your cash means anything here? Our MC stood up. Slowly, boss, dozens of underworld leaders stood up instantly, shouting out in perfect unison. Thomas lost all color in his face. His voice visibly trembled. You hear the boss? Blake finally drew his blade, steel gleaming as he advanced on the doomed duo. Please do not kill me. Tyler collapsed, smashing his head against the floor in a desperate bow. Boss, I was wrong. I will never bother Hazel again. Please. Thomas, slightly more composed now, wiped his sweat and forced a super nervous fawning smile. Boss, just name your price. Consider it an apology from the Sterling family. He shook his head, taking the blade from Blake. I am afraid you would be way too heartbroken losing your son. Let me do a favor and send you both on a nice trip together. The blade flashed, blood sprayed everywhere. Thomas hit the floor. Permanently silenced, he walked over to the violently shivering Tyler, looking right down at him with absolute coldness. This morning you told me to remember your name. Yeah, I remembered it perfectly. The katana drove straight through him, literally pinning him to the heavy wooden door. You and I would be paralyzed too. Nobody even dared to breathe. The Sterlings came looking for serious trouble and ended up scheduling a totally impromptu family reunion in the afterlife. He casually wiped the fresh blood off his face with a simple tissue. Did everyone see that clearly? Crystal clear, the whole room shouted, their voices totally shaking. Then his phone rang. The caller ID said, Sister Grace Lincoln, professor at City Foreign Language University. Leo frowned, answering. Her voice was absolute ice. Leo, are you close with Hazel? None of your business, he replied completely flat. Hazel just beat up 7 student council members. The school is expelling her, Grace threatened, her tone shifting to pure arrogance. If you apologize to Mom and Kevin, I can pull some strings. Grace, you are genuinely despicable. Leo gripped that phone, his voice dropping to absolute sub-zero. Don't get the wrong idea. Grace suddenly raised her voice, acting super defensive. I'm doing this strictly for the old man's sake. It's your only chance. Leo slammed his hand on the table, letting out a freezing laugh. Keep it, I'll handle this. Blake, prep the cars right now. We are hitting the university, he roared out. Blake instantly scrambled, instantly mobilizing the entire crew. Boss, what are we doing at a school? 1 Brave guy asked, exterminating pests, Leo replied, his tone colder than dead winter. Meanwhile, outside the university's main administration building, Grace was standing by a phone booth holding her books, frowning as her phone beeped out. The number you called is turned off, she redialed, completely annoyed. Leo, if you just bow to Kevin, I can hide this from Claire and help you just this once. What is this absolute nonsense? Leo's voice echoed in her head. Whatever, Grace scoffed to herself. If I didn't hate seeing you look pathetic, I seriously wouldn't even bother. Keep your pity, I don't need it, Leo had told her. The second he left that Lincoln house, they practically stopped existing to each other. Click, Grace was still fuming when a black Range Rover sped past, splashing a huge puddle of muddy water all over her expensive designer outfit. Before she could even scream out, a whole convoy of identical vehicles roared right past. Are they totally insane? Grace shrieked, wiping nasty mud away, but looking up, she totally froze. Get ready, because hundreds of black Range Rovers parked perfectly, completely locking down the entire administration building. The car doors swung open simultaneously. Nearly 1,000 men wearing sharp black suits and shades stepped out, lining up with absolutely terrifying military precision. The lead car's door swung wide open. Leo stepped out, face totally pale, but his eyes burned with pure lethal intent, striding directly toward the principal's office. Inside that exact office, Principal Foster was just casually smoking a cigarette, standing right in front of him. 7 completely battered student council members. Some wore casts, some gripped bruised ribs, and 2 had their heads wrapped tightly in thick bandages. Wendy, you are telling me Hazel beat all 7 of you like this? Foster just could not believe it. One little girl did this much damage. Principal. She had a metal baton hidden in her bag. Wendy gritted her teeth. She fought like some total maniac. Calm down. Foster waved his hand dismissively. I already called the cops. When they arrive, you tell them she was actively extorting you, and when you tried to stop her, she violently attacked. He tapped a folder on his desk. Hazel's official expulsion order drops tonight. Here is $7,000 to split up for your medical bills. Take 2 weeks off. The 7 girls totally cheered, thanking him profusely. Then boom, the heavy oak office door violently exploded inward, completely shattering into tiny splinters. Our guy walked right in, flanked by suited men. Oh, this gets good, Principal Foster, he called out, voice dangerously calm. Foster was totally shocked, then finally recognized our guy. Leo, you have some serious nerve breaking into my office. He slammed his wooden desk, trying to act tough. If you do not give me a good explanation, you're not walking out on 2 legs, our guy warned. Foster reached for his phone to call security but got 0 signal. Dead. What do you think you're doing? Foster pointed a shaky finger. Leo didn't even answer. He just picked up the expulsion folder from the desk, crushed it into a ball, and threw it. Cancel this order. Are you joking? I'm absolutely expelling her, Foster scoffed. And not only that, I am having her arrested to rot in jail. Leo calmly grabbed the heavy ceramic teapot off the desk and smashed it right over Foster's head. Blood instantly streamed down his face. The principal staggered, collapsing onto the sofa, his ears ringing. The 7 girls screamed, backing into a corner, trembling like absolute leaves. I'm not negotiating. Our MC picked up a solid wooden chair and brought it down hard on his chest. A high-pitched shriek echoed through the office. The 7 bullies turned deathly pale, way too terrified to even look. On the ruined sofa, Foster clutched his bleeding head. Sweat and blood mixed on his face. He frantically wiped it with tissues, but his eyes burned with pure rage. Leo, even if Grace gets on her knees and begs, you are done. Foster tried to bluff through the agonizing pain. Think you can scare me? The cops are almost here. Let's see how cocky you are in handcuffs. You and I know. Leo didn't flinch. He slowly walked over, leaning both hands on the desk. I think intentional assault is too light of a charge for me. Foster's heart skipped a beat. Pure panic set in. Pictures, our MC commanded. Blake stepped up, handing him a stack Of photos, Leo flipped through them, shoving them right into his pocket. Blake then walked over to the 7 cowering girls. "What do you want, Wendy the president?" Tried sounding brave, her voice trembling. "My family is super rich. If you touch me, my dad will end you." Leo punched through the window glass, grabbed Wendy by the collar and tossed her straight out the window. A sickening thud echoed from below. "No exceptions," he said, his hands clasped behind his back. "Blake, make them fly. We were wrong. Please don't kill us." The remaining 6 bawled. Dropping to their knees, "The principal told us to do it, and Hazel hit us. First, she is the person I protect with my life," Leo said softly. "You touched her. You think you deserve to breathe." 6 more figures were rapidly thrown right through the broken window. 6 heavy thuds echoed in rapid succession. They all landed in the bushes, mostly. Foster watched this insane scene unfold, his body going completely limp on the sofa, his heart hammered so hard he thought it would explode. Those 7 bullies who tried extorting Hazel were now expelled permanently. Leo turned back to Foster, gently patting the guy's shaking shoulder. "Principal Foster, did you hear me clearly?" "Yes, loud and clear," Foster nodded frantically, his teeth literally chattering. Our MC grabbed his collar and dragged him to the broken window. "I am the only criminal here, and you are this only witness. If I get arrested, as long as one of the 1,000 men standing down there is still breathing, they will end your entire family." Foster shivered violently, a cold sweat drenching his entire back. He couldn't form a single word. "You have 1 hour to publicly revoke Hazel's expulsion and issue an expulsion notice for those 7, Leo added coldly. "Oh, and conveniently, I want Hazel to receive the highest merit scholarship you offer." "Yes, yes, of course," Foster sobbed, completely broken. Leo just straightened his suit and he walks out. Moments later, hundreds of Range Rovers roar to life, leaving the campus behind. Dead silence falls. 10 minutes later, heavy police sirens wail across the grounds. In the lead cruiser, Officer Tracy Lincoln tells her partner to park. She jumps out, rushing straight to Grace, who looks absolutely, completely wrecked. Tracy gasps, asking what happened. Grace shivers. "A massive convoy of SUVs just blew past, splashing mud all over me." Grace sighs, staring down at her totally ruined outfit. "I just changed too." Then she asks about the Hazel situation. Tracy narrows her eyes, completely serious. Why in the world was Grace planning to beg for mercy for that ungrateful brat? Hearing this, Grace shakes her head. "I tried helping, but he threw eldest sister's words right back in my face." "Good," Tracy sneers. "Let's see how long he acts tough." She hopes he doesn't come crying to them later. Suddenly, boom, a terrifying scream completely pierces the air. Kids jumping out the window. Principal Foster sprints out of the admin building, his face battered, bloody, and looking totally unhinged. Grace rushes over, demanding to know what happened. The student council girls found out they were getting expelled. Got way too emotional, they jumped. Foster babbles wildly. "I tried stopping them but just got brutally beaten." Without another word, he absolutely sprints toward the front gates, muttering crazy curses at Thomas Stursling. He has to flee the city immediately to avoid the incoming fallout. But right then, a massive dump truck comes hurtling down the street, blowing straight through a red light. It slams directly into Foster, sending him flying 30 feet through the air before rolling right over him. Grace freezes completely. Books drop from her hands straight into the mud she touches. Her cheek, fresh, warm blood splattered everywhere. Tracy finally snaps back to reality. "Arrest that driver," she screams. Total chaos erupts. "You and I know as a veteran cop." Tracy feels a dark premonition. The principal leaves his office and instantly gets hit. That truck's insane speed screams cold, premeditated murder. "Captain, we got him." 2 officers drag over a driver reeking of cheap booze. "Attempted murder." Tracy violently grabs his jaw, her voice absolutely lethal. "Who put you up to this?" "I am drunk," the driver slurs. "Take me to jail. Lock him up," Tracy orders, immediately sprinting toward the admin building. As she runs, Grace doubles over, throwing up violently, the absolute shock of the gory hit finally crushing her. She passes out cold on the pavement. Meanwhile, at the city Sculpture Park, now watch this. Leo jumps out, his eyes instantly locking onto Hazel's fragile silhouette sitting alone on a stone bench by the lake. A sharp ache pierces his chest. Boss, my men watched her since she left the school. His subordinate Blake whispers respectfully. She has not done anything, just staring blankly at the water. Give us a minute. Leo waves them off, walking to the bench, the wind off. The lake carries a bitter chill. Hazel's hair is messy, her once pristine white dress stained with blood, some hers, mostly from those 7 girls. Her hollow eyes look totally empty. Why didn't you go to the hospital? Leo sits down, his voice full of raw ache. Just a few scratches, I am fine. Hazel turns and forces a painful smile. Brother Leo, how did you find me? Her voice is soft, but the crushing exhaustion in her eyes is impossible to hide. I asked why you skipped the hospital. Leo repeats firmly. Hospitals cost money. Hazel just looks down at her. Hazel looked down. You got that 400,000 back, but Dad's leg, poor folks, just can't afford to be fragile. She looked up, fighting hard to keep a smile. I fought all the time, she said. I'm used to it. People like us. If we aren't fierce, if we aren't totally strong, we just get crushed. She stuck her tongue out playfully. Brother Leo, do you think I'm too violent? Not exactly the super refined Lincoln ladies you're used to, huh? Did I look cool winning? Leo gently took her hand, his voice super low. Why didn't you go to the hospital? Her tough facade completely shattered. Tears spilled instantly. She threw her arms right around his neck, sobbing uncontrollably. Brother Leo, they can insult me all day, but they can't insult my dad. They called him useless, but he carries our entire family. I totally had to teach those girls a serious lesson. I had to show them poor people have real dignity. 2, we aren't just doormats for them to step on. Brother Leo, I got expelled. Her voice grew incredibly quiet, shaking with every single sob. I studied so hard to change my life, and with one sentence, they destroyed my entire future. Leo gently patted her back. His heart was absolutely breaking. Is this how the poor must live? I won't let anyone bully you. Leo wiped those heavy tears from her cheeks, his voice incredibly soft. Trust me. Click-clack. High heels clicked right behind them. I've been looking everywhere for you, and you're hiding here playing Romeo. An arrogant voice suddenly interrupted. You and I both know who that is. Rachel Lincoln had arrived. She wore a tight black dress, tailored blouse, and those absolute signature gold rimmed glasses, just radiating pure arrogant energy. Eldest Miss was here. Better make way. Hazel simply leaned back on the bench, chuckling softly. Her fierce aura completely refused to be crushed by Rachel. The heiress glared at him. Leo, I'm talking to you. Are you completely deaf? I am to you, he replied casually. Miss Lincoln, this isn't the Lincoln Mansion, and it is definitely not your hospital. I am not your subordinate or your patient. State your business or stop ruining my sunset. Leo stood up, fully ready to leave. Leo, you didn't used to be like this. Rachel's voice seriously trembled, mixing anger and deep disappointment. Used to be, he laughed so coldly. Yeah, that was before. Just because we kicked you out, you have to hold this ridiculous grudge. Rachel sneered, her voice shaking. You are just so petty. We gave you over a decade of luxury, and this is how you repay us. He looked right at her, his eyes totally devoid of warmth. Miss Lincoln, do you honestly think I gave a damn about your luxury? For over 10 years, you treated me worse than a stray dog. The old Leo died the moment you threw me out. He grabbed Hazel's hand and turned to walk away. Stop. Rachel lunged right forward, blocking his path, her pride totally refusing to let her lose. Do you have to be this completely ruthless? Is there a point to this? Leo asked. The tea eldest sister drinks. You made it, didn't you? Rachel extended her hand, her tone demanding. Give me the recipe. He smirked, a very mocking laugh escaping his lips. Me, but I am just a useless piece of absolute trash, a dog begging for scraps. Are you telling me the brilliant vice president of the city hospital needs help from me? Rachel's face flushed Bright red, her fists clenched so incredibly hard her knuckles turned white. Leo, if humiliating me makes you feel better, fine, I accept it. She stared straight into his eyes, but eldest sister is being tortured by her insomnia. Can't you think of a way to help her? Rachel took a breath, thinking he might actually budge. Soften up, help us, and we might forgive you. Leo just burst out laughing. His eyes held nothing but pure mockery. Did they really think Claire's insomnia was going to magically cure itself? For over 10 years, he bled for their family. Did any of them even care? Just go away. Stop invading his life. Leo, what do you want? Rachel screamed, completely losing it. Money, whatever you want, just cure Claire. I will give you everything. She dropped to her knees, grinding her teeth. Is this what you wanted? Are you satisfied? Leo turned away, his voice dropping to absolute freezing temperatures. Rachel, when I finally stopped caring about you, whether you live or die doesn't move me one bit. He wrapped an arm around Hazel and walked away. Let's watch Rachel kneel alone in the sunset, looking absolutely pathetic. What else were we supposed to do? Rachel muttered to herself, her tears falling freely. Mom told you to leave. Who would ever dare argue with her? In the distance, Hazel spoke softly. Brother Leo, are you really not going to forgive them? He smiled, gently ruffling her hair. There is no medicine for regret in this world. Spilled water cannot be gathered back up. Besides, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have met you. Hazel giggled mischievously. By the way, who is Blake? Oh, just an old buddy from the orphanage. Leo lied smoothly. Hungry? Let's go grab some late-night snacks. Let me call my mom and say I won't be home for dinner. Hazel nodded so enthusiastically. Brother Leo, can I use your phone? He blinked, looking around at the empty parks. You want to call her right now with my phone? What are you thinking? Hazel stuck her tongue out, making a funny face, and grabbed his hand. Let's go. I am starving. Back at the Lincoln mansion, Rachel rushed through the doors, looking completely exhausted. The whole house was eerily quiet. Victoria, their adoptive mother, wasn't around. Kevin being out all night partying was totally normal for him. The other sisters were at the hospital right now because Grace had suddenly collapsed into a deep coma. Rachel practically sprinted into the spare room on the first floor, the room where old man Lincoln used to live. After he passed, Claire kept it exactly as it was. No one ever dared touch it, though it was cleaned regularly. Rachel went straight to the bookshelf, her eyes scanning those dusty tomes. Hidden among some old paper trinkets was a tattered notebook. She quickly grabbed it, flipped it open, and a DVD fell out. She picked up the disc, rushed to the living room, shoved it in the player. Let's watch this together. She sat, her eyes completely glued to the screen. The video flickered to life. Old man Lincoln appeared wearing a simple linen shirt, sitting cross-legged right on his bed. He looked incredibly kind. By the time you girls see this, I will likely be gone. The greatest treasure I am leaving behind isn't money. It's your brother, Leo. That boy isn't good with words. He keeps everything locked away inside. To actually cure Claire's insomnia, he personally tested experimental herbal remedies right on himself. He nearly died multiple times. I had to personally resuscitate him. He always said he had no real family, just me, Victoria, and the 7 of you. That's why he was willing to endure absolutely anything. Tears just streamed down Rachel's face. The old man sighed, continuing, Rachel, you have always thought so highly of yourself. You studied Western medicine and really thought you knew better than me. But did you know every medical anomaly, every single impossible case you could not solve, Leo was secretly solving everything for you? While you slept, he begged me to hide the truth. To protect your pride. Rachel's hands trembled violently. Her chest suddenly felt like it took a sledgehammer hit. He continued, your adoptive mother is definitely not a good person. On the screen, he lowered his head, sounding utterly defeated. Leo was actually born with a severe cold poison condition. Over the years, he ruined his own lifespan to save this family. He probably has just 1 year left alive. The screen went black. Rachel absolutely froze. Before she could even check the DVD player, a harsh snap echoed through the Room, Victoria stood right there, sneering coldly. She had just broken the DV. Disc straight in half, tossing it down. Rachel, do not listen to that dead fools. Nonsense, he is dead and still trying to ruin us, Victoria barked out. Rachel stared at her adoptive mother in absolute horror, her voice trembling. Mom, why did you break that? How could you? You dare question me, Victoria roared loudly. I am your mother. He was just a stray mutt. He is my brother, Rachel screamed, immediately grabbing her coat and sprinting out the door, hot tears totally blinding her. Over at City Hospital 1, stick with me here. Rachel sprinted inside, only to spot her sisters waiting outside the ICU room. Eldest sister, why are you all out here? Rachel asked, a tight knot of pure dread twisting her stomach. Grace's condition took a massive dive. She threw up blood and fell into a coma. They are trying to save her right now, Tracy said grimly, looking absolutely terrified. What? Rachel was completely stunned. She checked Grace's vitals herself just a few hours ago. Everything was totally fine. How did it crash so fast? Second sister, where were you? Claire was slumped on a cheap plastic chair, clutching her head, looking half dead. That insomnia was seriously driving her straight to the edge of insanity. Eldest sister, Rachel breathed deeply, swallowing hard. I need to talk with you privately. Claire frowned. We sisters do not keep secrets from each other. Say it. Rachel stayed quiet, staring down. Eldest sister, this is something I cannot decide by myself. Claire ground her teeth together, fighting another bad migraine, and finally stood up. Follow me. Rachel led her to the vice president office, locking the heavy door. What is it, Rachel? Grace is literally dying out there. Claire snapped with zero patience. Why the huge secret? Rachel hit the wall, looking totally broken. Hot tears spilled down her face. Eldest sister, I found a hidden DVD in Dad's study. A DVD? Claire frowned in confusion. What was on it? Rachel choked back a sob. Years ago, to cure your insomnia, Leo tested dangerous experimental drugs on his own body. He nearly died. Dad had to save his life. Claire looked like she just caught a bullet. Every ounce of color left her shocked face. My insomnia, you did not cure it. Rachel shook her head, tears falling freely. To help you, he studied economics secretly, and he snuck right into my room while I slept, solving every impossible medical case for me. Insane, right? What? Claire stumbled back, grabbing a chair just to stay standing. He was only a useless servant boy. How could he possibly do that? Do you think Dad would lie to us? From beyond the grave, Rachel gritted her teeth hard. If I really was the one who cured you, why am I totally useless at treating your current relapse? Claire just stared blankly at the wall, suddenly remembering all the times Leo had fallen mysteriously, critically sick. The timing lined up perfectly with her absolute worst episodes. Her endless insomnia. Why did he stay totally silent? Claire whispered. If he had just spoken up, even facing pure exile, we wouldn't have been this absolute garbage. He treated us like blood family, and we never once gave him basic respect. Rachel hid her face, violently sobbing uncontrollably. The exact second we banished him, his spirit completely broke. She shakily pointed at the teacup. Your sleep issues completely vanished because of his brew, and saving you nearly ended his life. Claire grabbed the wooden desk edge so tightly her knuckles went totally pale. Where is that disc? Mom smashed it. Rachel laughed with pure bitterness, wiping tears. Eldest sister, do you even know what else Dad admitted? He said Leo has exactly 1 year left to live. 1 year. Claire's eyes blew wide in sheer horror. Her voice caught instantly. Rachel nodded heavily. When we threw him onto the streets, I felt guilty. Then his cold attitude made me angry and deeply bitter. But right now, I realize how unbelievably wrong we were. We basically junked the only guy trading his lifespan for ours. The entire room went dead silent. Stick with me here. Why stay quiet? Claire muttered. Rachel finally stood up, staring right out the glass, because he knew our eyes only valued absolute power. Everything was just cold, hard cash. After a very long pause, Claire walked over, squeezing her sister's shoulder. We are not two Late, we can still fix this. Before he dies, we must repay him somehow. Rachel turned back around, her eyes completely bloodshot. Will you tell the others you were the main one pushing to banish him forever? Let me shoulder this heavy guilt alongside you. Claire pulled a deep breath, forcing a pained smile. Then suddenly, the heavy door flew wide open. Valerie sprinted in, totally panicking. Big sister, second sister, come. Quick, it is Grace. Claire jolted, full sprinting toward the ICU. She had already lost one brother today. She absolutely refused to lose another sibling. Outside, Dr. Wang was aggressively scribbling on his clipboard. Dr. Wang, how is Grace doing? Rachel demanded. Frantically, Vice President Lincoln, your sister has secretly battled extreme epilepsy for many years. He pulled down his surgical mask, looking completely stunned. Did she never actually mention the seizures? The powerful Lincoln sisters exchanged a look, totally blindsided. Now watch this reveal. Scans show she battled this for 10 years. It was perfectly contained using some insanely advanced herbal remedy. Dr. Wang explained, try remembering any specific daily treatments she used. If we can just locate that exact formula, we can wake her up. I never saw her take anything. Claire quickly insisted, frowning hard. The seven sisters never hid things from each other. That was the one ironclad rule their father drilled into their heads. If Grace had epilepsy, how could she possibly hide it? Very strange, Dr. Wang softly mused. The treatment logic was sheer genius. Without suffering today's massive emotional shock, she would not have crashed for another 6 straight months. Herbal medicine. Claire and Rachel locked eyes again, both of their desperate minds instantly snapped right to the brother they just trashed. You guessed it, Leo. Could it be Grace was also secretly kept alive by Leo? Normally, Claire would have found that theory completely absurd, but now the crazy pieces perfectly aligned. Thank you, Dr. Wang. Rachel forced a tight, polite smile, dismissing him. The sterile room fell totally silent. Grace rested there, eyes softly shut like she was just napping. Then Claire's phone aggressively buzzed. What? Stocks dropped again. Hanging up the call, Claire's face was completely pitch black. She slumped back, totally drained. The international stock portfolio, total free fall. The past 2 days had been completely disastrous. You guys go rest, Claire rasped, sounding totally defeated. Eldest sister, what's wrong today? Valerie asked softly. Claire couldn't hold it back anymore. I am going insane without sleep. Our sister is in a coma, stocks are crashing, and I just found out I personally kicked out the one brother who secretly sacrificed everything for us. Big sister, Grace always used to wear a scent sachet, Valerie offered timidly. I don't know if it connects to her illness. Where is that sachet? Rachel grabbed her shoulders excitedly. It was Leo's gift for her 10th birthday. After he got kicked out, she trashed it, Valerie answered. Threw it where? Claire's eyes burned with sudden fire. Probably in the trash at home. Valerie shrank back, feeling wronged. Go find it. Claire grabbed her face, voice dropping to a rare, terrifying calm. If it's the right one, you save Grace's life. Valerie wiped her tears, nodded, and bolted from the hospital. Rachel patted Claire's back, knowing just how wrecked she felt. The very brother they treated like garbage secretly did everything for them. Meanwhile, Kevin, their real brother, welcomed with open arms, out partying while his sister lay in a coma. You and I both see the blinding contrast here. Half an hour later, Valerie found the unemptied trash at the mansion. She grabbed the tiny sachet, gave it a sniff, and sprinted back. Meanwhile, on Central Avenue, Argyleo was pedaling a rental bike, giving Hazel a ride to a food stall. She was totally thrilled today, not only dodging expulsion, but she also snagged a massive scholarship. She was basically singing the entire way. Suddenly, a black Mercedes zoomed past them, slamming its brakes right in front of the stall. Leo reacted instantly, swerving the bike just in time to dodge a brutal crash. Do you even know how to drive? Hazel jumped off, absolutely furious, screaming at the Mercedes. Doors opened. A guy and a girl stepped out. The man glanced at them, sneering. What are you yelling about? I Have 5 million in liability insurance. If I hit you, I'll just write a check, he whistled, eyeing Hazel up and down. Riding this piece of junk, come. Take a ride in my Benz instead, sweetheart. Kevin, someone's getting jealous, the girl next to him whined playfully, clinging to his arm. You idiot, Hazel's face burned bright red with pure anger. You think having some cash makes you royalty? The girl looked up stunned. Hazel froze. Class rep, the guy took off his shades, revealing a highly punchable, smug face. He strolled over, glaring at Leo with pure arrogance. Well, if it isn't the stray dog on a rusty bike trying to pick up chicks, what a crazy coincidence. Yeah. Quite a coincidence, the girl chimed in. Kevin, you know him, now Hazel, realizing Kevin was looking for a fight, secretly reached into her bag for her trusty baton, only to grab empty air. I confiscated it earlier, Leo smiled faintly. We are a bit more than acquainted, Kevin sneered, shoving his hands in his pockets. I am the real young master of the Lincoln family. He pointed at Leo, dripping with sarcasm. And this guy, just a cheap fake, stick with me. A total knockoff, a dog begging for scraps. Hazel stepped right in front of our guy Leo, glaring absolute daggers. Young Master Lincoln, is it? I would watch my mouth if I were you. Kevin raised an eyebrow, totally amused. Or what? Hazel smirked, staring straight at the girl clinging onto him. Lucy, is he your new sugar daddy? I did not know our school restroom was charging premium rates now. Lucy's face immediately turned beet red. Hazel, I will kill you. She lunged forward, raising her hand to slap Hazel, but smack. Hazel beat her to it, delivering a brutal backhand right across Lucy's face. Keep talking trash, and a bloody nose will be the absolute least of your problems. Lucy burst right into tears, hugging Kevin's arm tight. Kevin, you have to do something. She hit me. Kevin's face darkened. Honestly, he did not actually care about Lucy, but his fragile pride was bruised. He could not lose face in front of Leo. Miss Hazel hanging around Leo is a total dead end. Kevin pulled out a sleek black card from his jacket. This is a VIP card for the Cloud9 Palaces restaurant. Without this thing, you cannot even get through the front doors. Hazel just scoffed, grabbing Leo's hand and dragging him to the reception desk. She slammed a heavy, gold-trimmed black card onto the counter. You just need a card to enter, right? The receptionist looked at the card and instantly turned ghostly pale. At Cloud9 only 3 people possessed the Black Dragon Gold card. Tyron, the now completely deceased Westside boss, Cole, the restaurant owner, and the ultimate mysterious boss. Offending anyone holding this specific card, a guaranteed death sentence. Hey, stop them from leaving, the manager yelled, practically sweating bullets right now. Dozens of massive security guards poured out, completely surrounding Hazel and Leo. What are you doing? Hazel stepped in front of Leo again, her face pale. Brother Leo, when the fighting starts, you run first. Seeing these super aggressive guards, she suddenly regretted her impulsive flex. Now watch. Kevin strolled over, laughing arrogantly. Little girl, this is second boss Cole's territory. Did you really think you could just fake a VIP card and walk right in? You think everyone will just spoil you like I would? He glanced at Leo, then leaned in close to Hazel. Give me a kiss and I will bail you out. He turned back to Leo. Hey, punk, if you want to avoid a beat down, tell your little girlfriend to make the smart choice. Kevin was feeling incredibly smug. The manager wiped his forehead nervously, asking Kevin, sir, are you acquainted with these two at all? Kevin immediately backed away, raising his hands. No, not at all. He did not want to get dragged into the brutal beating. But as tension peaked, stick with me here. The security guards did not attack them. Instead, they all dropped to one knee, forming a massive circle around Leo and Hazel. Everyone was totally stunned, especially Kevin. Miss, we were blind. Please forgive our insolence. The manager was literally trembling, bowing deeply. What is happening? Hazel's mind went completely blank. You are the holder of the legendary Black Dragon card. We have deeply offended you. The manager gestured, and the guards around them instantly began slapping their own faces in perfect unison. Hazel's eyes went wide. She picked up the Card from the desk. Wait, this is the black dragon card. Yes, ma'am, the manager. Squeaked. Hazel looked over at Leo. He leaned down and whispered in her ear, if I am guessing right, you could tell them to do jumping jacks, and they would not dare. Refuse, really. Hazel's eyes practically sparkled with mischief. She cleared her throat and stood up perfectly straight. Stand up. The dozens of guards instantly snapped to. The room freezes. Kevin turns absolutely pale. Even the mighty CEO Claire only holds a basic VIP card, a black dragon card. Kevin hasn't even heard of it. Throw them out. Hazel points right at Kevin and Lucy. Wait, what? I am a VIP. I will sue you. Kevin panics, desperately trying to keep up his tough act. But it is useless. 4 massive guards grab his limbs and literally launch him straight out the front doors. He eats pavement, landing face first like a sack of trash. Lucy gets tossed out right behind him. She curls up in the corner, sobbing loudly, absolutely furious at Hazel for the utter humiliation. She flags down a taxi and bolts. The manager forces a flattering smile, bowing deeply to Hazel. Anything else we can do for you, ma'am? Just lead the way. I will order first, you catch up, Hazel tells Leo, still incredibly suspicious of how he actually has this insane VIP status. She obediently follows the manager inside, but watch this. The exact second she leaves, Leo's smile completely drops. From the shadows across the street, Blake emerges with 12 specialized enforcers. They instantly surround Kevin before he can even crawl to his car. What do you want? Kevin stammers, staring at the men in black suits. Leo slowly walks over, hands in his pockets. His voice is absolute ice. Seems you forgot my warning. Leo, my dad saved your life. He raised you. I am his only son. Have you got any conscience left? Kevin screams, desperately using the old man's memory as a human shield. True, the old man gave me a second life. He was a father to me. Leo nods, his tone suddenly softening. Kevin thinks he is off the hook and lets out a massive sigh of relief. Right, good, I will be going. I didn't say you could leave. Leo cuts him off, a cruel smirk forming. I won't kill you, but that does not mean I can't break your pride. Bam, Leo stomps his foot down hard next to the car tire, pointing directly at the narrow gap underneath. Crawl. Leo, are you insane? Kevin's face completely twists in raw panic. He struggles, but 2 enforcers pin him down fast. Right at that exact moment, Valerie bursts from the shadows, screaming her lungs out. Stop, Leo. Let him go. Leo just laughs. Coldly, he raises his hand and delivers a brutal backhand right across Kevin's face. Smack. Kevin's head bounces hard off the car door. Blood trickles down his lip, but he is way too terrified to make a sound. Leo. Valerie looks like she is losing her absolute mind. She lunges at Leo, but he casually shoves her backward. You pushed me. Valerie falls to the pavement, staring up at him in pure shock. Valerie, this has nothing to do with you, Leo states coldly. If you know what is good for you, stay out of it. But he is my brother, the biological son of old man Lincoln. Valerie scrambles up, screaming wildly. How can you do this to him, you ungrateful animal? Leo actually laughs at that. For over 10 years, I lived like a clown for you people. Valerie, you seriously think this brat is more important than me? But he is innocent. Valerie chokes out through tears. We raised you for years, and it turns out we raised a backstabbing wolf. Leo's smile widens, but it never reaches his eyes. He points straight at the ground. Either you crawl under my legs or he does. If neither of you do it, I am breaking his legs right now. Kevin turns ghostly pale. He instantly screams, sister, you do it. You are a girl. You are going to have to get on your knees for a man eventually anyway. Just do it. How can you say that to me? Valerie stares at her brother, utterly betrayed. Stop stalling. All right, you and I are watching absolute payback. Kevin violently shoved Valerie down. Crawl. Palms scraped raw, tears completely flooding her face. Shakily, she pushed herself onto her hands and knees. Then, absolute humiliation, she slowly crawled right between Leo's legs. Leo, I am your sister. How dare you treat me like this? Valerie screamed, eyes burning with sheer hatred. Sister, Leo just sneered right back. We share zero blood, and like I said, I am not the old Leo anymore. He leaned in, grabbed her chin, and whispered cold as ice, "Take the jacket off." Or his hands come off. Valerie froze solid. She was completely speechless, even blackened. The enforcers were shocked. "What? Did you not just say you would do absolutely anything for your precious brother?" Leo mercilessly mocked her. "But when it is time to pay up, you hesitate. Total hypocrite." Valerie fiercely gritted her teeth, body shaking violently. "Enough." Kevin, terrified that Leo might actually shatter his legs, viciously slapped Valerie right across the face. "You idiot, just take it off. What are you waiting for?" He grabbed her jacket and violently ripped it right off her shoulders. Leo did not even look back. He just turned into the restaurant. Kevin glared at his back with pure venom, then quickly turned to Valerie, still sitting there on the ground, totally broken. "Where is Claire?" he angrily demanded. "At the hospital," Valerie answered numbly. She just sat there, weeping so uncontrollably. "Stop crying." Kevin impatiently snapped at her. "Take me to Claire right now." "Hurry up." Valerie had zero choice. She drove this totally ungrateful brat straight to the hospital. "Now we really need to see this hospital room." "Valerie, why are you back so late? Where did you go?" Claire asked coldly. Even while she was losing her mind over the stock market, she remained the super strict matriarch of the family, eldest sister. "I brought the package." Valerie kept her head down, just handing it right over. Kevin immediately threw himself onto his knees. "Claire, you have to help me. Leo hates me. He sent guys to beat me up, threatened to hurt me." He hid his good hand, showing off his face scrape like some war wound. "I beg you, kick him out of town. I am terrified he will kill me." "What?" Tracy the cop flared up instantly. "I will arrest him right now." "Stop," Claire commanded coldly. "Why did he hit you? Tell the absolute truth." Kevin stammered. Seeing Valerie staying completely silent, he decided to spice up his lie. "He even ripped our seventh sister's clothes and made her crawl between his legs. He is at Cloud9 Palace right now. If you doubt me, just go check." The whole room erupted in whispers. "Silence," Claire snapped. She turned straight to Valerie. "Is this true?" Valerie said nothing. She just kept her head down and cried. Tracy walked over, closely inspecting Valerie's torn jacket. She deeply frowned. "Valerie, you always use Helena perfume, right?" Claire lined in, sniffing Kevin's hand. Instantly she recognized the distinct Helena perfume scent on his skin. "Eldest sister, what are you saying?" Tracy stepped right up, grabbing Kevin's hand. She smelled it too. As a total cosmetics expert, she could not be fooled. "Little brother, care to explain?" Tracy glared at Kevin like a hawk. He turned bright red, nervously stammering. Leo ripped her jacket. "I was only trying to help her button it back up right." "Oh, is that so?" Tracy laughed extremely coldly. "The tear marks on this fabric were clearly made by someone pulling it forcefully downward." Claire stepped forward, grabbing Valerie's collar. "Are we finally getting the truth? Let's watch this unfold." Valerie's eyes were totally bloodshot. "Eldest sister, Kevin was the one who ripped it, but Leo actually made me crawl between his legs. He is seriously at Cloud9. Go check if you doubt me." Then smack, Claire slapped Valerie hard across the face, cutting her right off. The whole room went dead silent, absolute shock. Claire had never hit any of her sisters before, but today, she reached her absolute breaking point. "You actually hit me." Valerie cradled her cheek, tears streaming down. "Eldest sister, you hit her too." Tracy hugged Valerie protectively. "Just calm down. Everyone out there bullies me, and now my own family does it too. I really don't want to live anymore." Valerie wailed in total, utter despair. "Valerie, do not think your little lies can fool me." Claire replied with this terrifying, icy calm. "Leo barely even has money for a basic meal. How on earth is he dining at Cloud9 Palace?" Claire took a pause, her voice trembling just a bit. "Did he honestly bully you? Tell me the truth." Valerie looked away, quietly whispering no. Claire let out this incredibly heavy sigh. "Get out, go home, lock yourself up and really think about what you did for a week. You are a massive disappointment. Our dad taught us to be kind and honest." Rachel grabbed her phone and called Leo directly. "Hey, did Valerie come looking for you. Yeah, she begged me to mix paint. I told her no, that Lincoln family acts like pure royalty. They can go mix there. Own damn paint, Leo answered completely coldly. Loud yelling echoed right through the receiver. Stop stealing my leftovers. Leo screamed at someone, then hung up. Claire stood up. Her face went totally ashen. Valerie, just because he refused you, you completely framed him. Leo is literally fighting for discarded leftovers, and you claim he is dining at Cloud 9. Valerie just collapsed to the floor, choking on heavy sobs, totally speechless. I do not have it. Snake for a sister, Claire spat, turning away. Kevin, seeing everything going terribly south, desperately looked for an escape. Eldest sister, I have been out way too long. Mom will worry, I am heading home. Valerie cried so hard she almost passed out. Eldest sister, you are humiliating me. I will just die to prove my innocence. She broke free from Tracy's tight grip and lunged straight for the window. Rachel was faster. Tackling her right away from the glass, Valerie slammed heavily into Rachel's chest. Eldest sister, you were honestly a bit harsh today, Tracy quietly whispered. Even with your bad insomnia, you should not have pushed her to jump. If she was treated the exact way Leo was treated, she would have died 100 times over by now, Claire coldly replied, her voice sharper than a scalpel. That sentence instantly made Tracy fully flinch. She realized something was incredibly wrong here. Claire was suddenly always defending Leo now, despite absolutely hating him in the past. Claire stared straight down at Valerie. I wronged you regarding the clothes. Kevin ripped them, but did Leo really force you to crawl? Yes, Valerie cried, feeling completely and utterly wronged. And I was not lying. He truly is at Cloud 9. You can go look. I believe you, Tracy quickly interjected. I actually heard someone call him boss today. An employee greeted him like that. Are you totally sure? Tracy asked. Positive, Valerie fiercely insisted. Tracy frowned. We're about to uncover something huge. The boss is the West Side's new kingpin. He destroyed Tyron's gang and claimed Cloud 9. Valerie was stunned. She thought she was simply clearing her name, but the real truth was far more complicated. Huh, Claire furiously roared, her eyes full of utter disappointment. Leo is completely penniless, fighting for actual scraps of food, and you are telling me he is a mafia boss dining at a back at the luxury palace. Do you think I'm an idiot? I will literally die to prove it. Valerie gritted her teeth. You don't need to die, Claire glared at Rachel. Just watch over Grace. Grabbing her purse, Claire stormed right out. Tracy and Valerie rushed after her. Meanwhile, at Cloud 9 Palace, Blake stood on a triumphantly holding up a plate of stir-fried potatoes. Haha, these leftovers are mine. Leo smiled faintly, sipping water. Blake, next time we play games, you are absolutely banned. Hazel just laughed. To lighten the mood, she had started a dare. The loser had to eat the remaining scraps on the table. Oh, my dad is calling. Hazel checked her phone screen. We should head back. Leo stood up, grabbing packed takeout boxes for Uncle Harry. But suddenly, the VIP room doors burst open. Claire, Tracy, and Valerie marched in. The vibe instantly froze. Dozens of massive men in black suits turned their deadly glares onto the uninvited guests. Valerie swallowed hard, stammering. Where is Leo? I swear I heard people calling him boss. I saw him come in here, but there was no sign of Leo or Hazel. They had slipped out back. What do you want? Blake wiped grease off his mouth, glaring at the women. Claire forced a polite smile. Hello, I am Claire Lincoln from Lincoln International. Is there anyone here named Leo? Hearing that name, Blake's eyes flashed with pure anger. This was the woman who kicked their boss out. Nobody by that name. Blake waved his hand dismissively. Who are these crazy women ruining our dinner? Get lost. The doors slammed aggressively shut in their faces. What are you even doing? The restaurant security guards instantly surrounded the three sisters. What's the problem? The head of security stepped up, looking annoyed. CEO Lincoln, please cooperate. Don't make this difficult for us, the guard warned. He's the one. Valerie pointed fiercely at the guard. I saw you kneeling before Leo. The guard's expression didn't change at all. You must have mistaken me for someone else. His voice was entirely monotone. You're lying. Valerie tried arguing, but Claire. Cut her off, enough. Haven't we embarrassed ourselves enough today? Claire pulled out $100 bills, handed them to the guard, and forced a smile. Buy your boys some. Late night snacks, thank you, CEO Lincoln. The guard sneered, quickly pocketing the cash. Outside the restaurant, Claire glared at Valerie, grinding her teeth. Anything else to say? Valerie opened her mouth but had zero explanation. Claire got into the driver's seat. Tracy, drive to Harry's apartment. I need Valerie to see exactly how Leo is living. Now get this, back at the apartment, Leo brought the packed leftovers. Uncle Harry and Aunt Lily looked at the spread with very complicated expressions. Hazel, did you spend Leo's money on this? Harry set his chopsticks down, looking serious. Uncle Harry, these only cost about $50. Leo quickly lied. Hazel got a scholarship and wanted to treat you guys, really? Harry's eyes went wide. Yes, I just got the notice. Hazel smiled, nodding. That's wonderful. The ancestors are looking out for us. Harry wiped a tear away, pulling out a hidden bottle of cheap liquor. We have to celebrate tonight. As everyone was laughing, Hazel yelled from her bedroom. Dad, where is my teddy bear? I threw it out. The apartment is too small. That thing was falling apart. Harry yelled back. You threw it where? Hazel sprinted out of the room, eyes red, looking absolutely frantic. In the dumpster. Downstairs, Harry flinched. The bear was completely ripped. Why need it? Hazel didn't answer. She just bolted down the stairs. Leo quickly followed, down by the dumpsters. Hazel stood totally frozen, staring at the massive trash pile. Leo sighed. Let me handle this. He rolled up his sleeves and started digging right through the garbage. Brother Leo, it is way too dirty. Hazel panicked. If it is important, I'll find it no matter where it is. Leo smiled gently. By the way, report to my friend's company tomorrow. You lost the bet. Remember? Hazel blinked in surprise. I think I'll pass, don't worry. With your skills, they're lucky to have you as an intern. Leo laughed, continuing to dig. Meanwhile, Claire's fancy Mercedes pulled right up to the curb. She watched him digging through the garbage under a dim street light. Tears instantly poured down her face. Valerie, if you can't actually explain yourself, leave the Lincoln family exactly like Leo did, Claire told her coldly. Valerie had zero excuses left. She absolutely shouldn't have meddled. Instant karma, she thought. Say what you want, but Leo taking care of people, it is actually quite sweet. Tracy muttered from the passenger seat. He's got skills and he is a little romantic too. Tracy, what on earth are you saying? Claire wiped her tears, staring at her sister. Haha, I just realized Leo would make a fantastic boyfriend. Tracy sighed loudly. Too bad it's impossible now. He is your brother. Claire's voice pitched up in total anger. We don't share blood. Tracy shrugged. I thought we'd keep wealth in the family. Pity you kicked him out. Claire was so furious she could not speak. She turned right to Valerie. What are you going to do? Valerie looked up, her eyes totally determined. If I prove I wasn't lying, will you apologize to me? Of course. Claire said, I won't return to the Lincoln house until my name is cleared. Valerie pushed the car door wide open. If Leo survives outside, so can I. She slammed the door, not looking back. Eldest sister. What now? Tracy asked, nursing a huge headache. She's an adult. I respect her decision. Claire stared right out the window. Drive us home. 3 hours later, Leo found the teddy bear wrapped in a plastic bag at the absolute bottom of the dumpster. Is this it? He carefully handed it to Hazel. She took it and gently kissed its head. Thank you, brother Leo. Staring right at the old faded bear, our guy just froze. This was the birthday gift he bought her over 10 years ago. She had kept it all this time. Meanwhile, the ungrateful Lincoln family treated everything he did like literal garbage. You gotta love the irony. Recognize it? Hazel asked with a warm smile. Yeah, Leo nodded, feeling a real rush of emotion. Suddenly, Valerie's voice totally shattered the peaceful moment. Leo, he turned right around. She stood 10 yards away, actual tears streaming down her face, and suddenly she dropped to her knees. I am sorry, I shouldn't have bothered you, please forgive me. What is she playing at now? Another one of Kevin's traps, he sneered. Inwardly, he bled to mix her paints for 7 years, and the one time he says no. She framed him. Leo looked at her with pure, unadulterated disgust. You are dirtier than this pile of garbage. Let's go, Hazel. Leo, Valerie sobbed, literally crawling forward. Why? Won't you just admit you're the boss? Are you scared? Are you even a man? Fine, I'll admit it. Leo stopped, looking at her deadpan. I am the boss. Satisfied, say it again. Valerie excitedly pulled out her phone to record. I am the boss, Leo repeated monotonously. Happy now, did you hear that? Valerie excitedly screamed right into her phone, but the only sound from the speaker was an automated. All right, let's jump back in. The call fails, phone switched off. Her device slipped right out of her hand, shattering on the hard concrete. Valerie collapsed into the dirt, staring blankly into space before completely breaking down. Leo just gave her one cold look, grabbed Hazel's hand and walked away, no looking back. Soon after a refreshing shower, Hazel and Leo chilled out on the balcony. Looking down, Valerie was actually still slumped by those dumpsters, totally crying her eyes out. 10 solid minutes of tears. Hazel noted, casually checking her watch. Pretty pathetic. Leo just leaned against the railing and shook his head. She used to be his sister. Tough thing to watch. Yeah, it must be rough for a girl all alone down there, Hazel teased. Honestly, brother, Leo just has a soft heart. He hates seeing people suffer, so he pulled out his phone and dialed. Hello, Psychiatric Control Center. Listen, there is a woman outside the beautiful View Apartments who will not stop wailing. She's highly unstable. Please hurry before she does something completely extreme. He hung up, only to find Hazel staring at him in absolute shock. What, did I do something wrong? Leo asked innocently. Brother Leo, I freaking love you. Hazel suddenly burst out laughing, standing on her tiptoes to kiss his cheek. 10 minutes later, a white van rolled up. What are you doing? Let go of me. My sister is Claire Lincoln. Valerie totally shrieked as 2 massive orderlies grabbed her. Yes, yes, let us get you home. The doctor smiled gently. Valerie's eyes instantly lit up. Really, my eldest sister actually forgave me. CEO Lincoln told us to pick you up. Get in. The doctor nodded smoothly. Valerie eagerly hopped right into the van, only to realize the back seats had heavy iron bars and the doors locked from the outside. The doctor smirked. If you are Claire Lincoln, then I am the President of the United States. The van immediately sped off toward the city psych ward. Meanwhile, you and I need to check on the family. Tracy and the rest had headed out for work. Only Rachel and Claire remained alone in the quiet hallway. Eldest sister, I have absolutely no choice but to keep prescribing those sleeping pills, Rachel said sadly. You have sacrificed way too much for this family. It is fine, Claire nodded tiredly. She knew without sleep, she would basically just drop dead from sheer exhaustion. After a heavy silence, Claire finally asked, Rachel, do you truly think Leo slapped Kevin just out of blind anger? Rachel hesitated. Eldest sister, I really think there is more to it. If you never mentioned that DVD, I would have sworn Leo was just framing him today. Claire sighed deeply. Ever since discovering Valerie and Kevin totally set him up with that clothing stunt, I feel like we have been completely played this entire time. Eldest sister, regretting it now is just too late. Rachel sighed, who knew Leo suffered so quietly while we completely misunderstood him time and time again. Claire totally choked up. Why didn't he defend himself? Why did he never explain? Rachel laughed bitterly. Even if he explained, would you have genuinely believed him? After a long pause, Claire looked up. Rachel, he will not accept any apologies from me. What should I do? Rachel patted her hands softly. True, but you can definitely start with Hazel. Her family is completely broke. They need money. Lincoln International is hiring right now. Hand her a top-tier position. High salary, fast promotions. Maybe Leo will finally forgive us if we treat her right. Okay, Claire nodded. Make it happen, but get this, Rachel's phone suddenly rang. Her expression immediately turned incredibly weird. Valerie actually got tossed into a psych ward. They want us to come pick her up. Claire's icy expression never changed. Let her stay and cool off for 7 7 days, consider it punishment. 7 days, Rachel hesitated. Isn't that a bit harsh? She hasn't suffered half as much as Leo did. My decision is absolute. Claire stated coldly. Next morning, the foreign language university job fair is absolutely packed. Hazel waits in the lecture hall, looking totally sharp in a crisp white blouse and black blazer. Gossip is flying. Did you hear? Lincoln International wants 10 new hires, 20,000 starting salary. Someone yelled down the hall. Ladies, I got the job. Lucy flashes her shiny new contract, marching toward Hazel wearing a massive smirk. See, I don't need rich guys to beat you. But right then, a booming voice cuts through the tension. Miss Lucy, are you in Miss Hazel's class? Lucy spins around. Her cocky smile instantly drops into pure panic. It is Manager Ricky, sharp suit. He scans the crowd. Who is Hazel? Everyone stares at Hazel. You and I know these two are absolutely bitter rivals. Lucy just bragged about landing that sweet human resources job at Lincoln International. So why is the human resources manager looking for Hazel? That is me. Need something, Hazel asks, completely calm, but hearing the name Lincoln International, her tone turns freezing. Cold. Lucy instantly jumps in. Hazel, how dare you speak to the manager like that? Show some respect. How I talk is entirely my business. Hazel scoffs. Wow, you haven't even clocked in yet, and you are already kissing the corporate boots. Lucy turns bright green. Manager Ricky, if you actually hire this girl, please order a medical checkup. We wouldn't want our male staff catching whatever dirty diseases she carries. Lucy, I swear I will end you. Hazel lunges forward, ready to throw hands. Stop, Ricky shouts, instantly silencing the entire hallway. Miss Hazel, would you be interested in joining Lincoln International? Ricky asks, his tone suddenly super polite and entirely respectful. And totally sincere. 30,000 a month, plus you will be placed on the fast-track executive training program. The whole room violently gasps. 30,000 a month? Lucy literally just flexed about getting 8,000. Why is Hazel getting 4 times that money? Is this Claire Lincoln doing this? Hazel mutters, her sharp eyes narrowing with deep suspicion. How dare you call the boss by her name? Lucy shrieks. Miss Lucy, this was entirely the Human Resources Department making the call, Ricky states sternly. Actually, you were the one who recommended Miss Hazel. You said she was an outstanding hire, right? Ricky stares down Lucy. His cold eyes are sending a very clear threat. Lucy's brain completely short-circuits. Recommend Hazel. These two are mortal enemies. Watch how Ricky completely corners her in front of everybody. She has zero choice. Gritting her teeth, she nods. Oh really? Hazel smirks, totally playing along. Sister Lucy, what exactly did you say about me? Miss Lucy, please repeat your exact words, Ricky orders coldly. I didn't quite catch it the first time. Lucy takes a shaky breath, hands trembling. Hazel is beautiful, top of our class, no scandals, full scholarship, easily one of the absolute best students in school. Hazel leans in, dramatically cupping her ear. I am totally inferior to you, Lucy mumbles, her face completely pale. The whole crowd explodes laughing. Lucy is shaking with pure rage but stays totally silent. Miss Hazel, please strongly consider this offer. Ricky pushes. Lincoln International is a truly incredible place to build a solid career. I am so sorry, Hazel replies coldly. I have high standards for employers. From what I hear, people enter your company just by sleeping with. All right, watch this. Claire Lincoln's brother. The hall goes dead silent. Ricky's face turns pitch black. He grabs Lucy's employment contract and completely shreds it. Lincoln International does not tolerate nepotism or inappropriate relations. Ricky, you bastard. Lucy goes totally insane, lunging right at him. This morning in the bathroom, you slept with me and promised me this job. You couldn't even last a minute, and now you play the moral high ground. Total chaos breaks out. Hazel just smirks and turns away, but someone blocks her path. Tracy Lincoln stands there, hands in her pockets, staring at her ice cold. We need to talk. About what? Hazel frowns. She knows Tracy has a hot temper, but she Hasn't done anything illegal. Let's talk over there. Tracy points to her car. If you have something to say it right here. Hazel glares with open hostility. Tracy shrugs. Fine. How much money will it take for Leo to return and brew tea for Claire? Hazel freezes, then lets out a harsh laugh. Money, you. Lincolns only ever talk about cash. You really are cut from the exact same cloth as Kevin. Tracy completely ignores the insult. Don't reject the offer so quickly, assuming the request isn't insane. We will agree to it. Do you really want Leo digging through trash for the rest of his life, if not for yourself? Think about your family. Think about Leo. Hazel scoffs. Right now I am honestly glad you kicked him out. She deliberately bumps Tracy's shoulder hard as she walks past her. Tracy grinds her teeth in pure frustration. She is about to chase her down when a massive engine roar echoes through the street. A dozen black Range Rovers pull up, totally blocking the school gates. A group of men in dark suits step out of the lead car, walking directly toward Hazel. Miss Hazel, we are from the Black Gold Syndicate. Our chairman invites you for a meeting. Black Gold Syndicate. Hazel frowns. She pulls out her phone and immediately calls Leo. Brother Leo, is Black Gold the company you mentioned yesterday? Yeah, Leo answers calmly. I need you to do me a favor. Think of it as repaying the debt. My guys are a bit rough around the edges. They need an educated brain like yours to manage things. Okay, Hazel nods at the men. Let's go. She assumes Black Gold is just another normal corporate recruiting firm. As she gets into the car, Ricky runs over, his face covered in nasty scratch. Marks, Miss Hazel, are you sure you won't reconsider Lincoln International? Before he can even finish, a bodyguard slaps him so hard he literally spins around. You and I know he deserved that. The convoy speeds off, reaching a towering, magnificent skyscraper. Hundreds of men in sharp black suits are lined up perfectly. A lieutenant opens the car door. Miss Hazel, welcome to the Black Gold Syndicate. Hundreds of loud fireworks shoot into the sky. Bright confetti rains down everywhere. Hazel is completely stunned. She never expected this kind of wild reception. Don't worry, it's not actually for you, the lieutenant quickly explains. We are welcoming our new chairman. Hazel sighs in relief. She pats her chest, walking down the long red carpet, and cautiously enters the huge building. From a distance, Tracy watches the entire spectacle from her car, her jaw completely dropping. Hazel works for the boss now. Tracy honestly cannot believe it. That kid is hiding some deep secrets. She immediately orders her subordinates to keep a close eye on the top floor of the Black Gold building. Meanwhile, inside a private dining room, a dozen of the city's wealthiest elites are gathered around one massive hot pot table. Leo sits right at the head, tapping his fingers. Gentlemen, I need you to hand over all Lincoln International supply contracts to me. I'll buy them from you at a 10% premium. These tycoons stare at each other. Total shock. Mr. Leo, that puts us in a terrible spot. One guy speaks up. Everyone knows CEO Claire Lincoln's temper. The breach of contract penalties alone would be absolutely massive. Exactly right. Lincoln International is a total corporate powerhouse. Pulling a stunt like this won't end well, another agrees, but Leo just laughs, mockingly raising his glass. So, you're all terrified of Claire Lincoln, but you aren't terrified of me. Boom. The room's tension spikes immediately. When I host dinners there are only two types. He holds up two fingers, a celebration banquet or a last supper. Leo casually pulls a gun from his jacket, walking toward the first guy who'd spoken up, but then ring. His phone goes off. He raises an eyebrow, answering. Leo, get away from Hazel immediately. Claire's panicked voice screams right through the speaker. He's the West Side boss. Hazel is with the boss. Wait, if she's with the boss, then who am I? Leo mutters, chuckling darkly before hanging up. Are you totally insane? The businessman Marcus Long yells out. Leo completely ignores him. He racks the pistol's slide, pointing it straight at Marcus's head. Boss, what are you doing? Marcus panics. Playing a game. Leo smiles, grabbing an apple and dropping it on his head. What do you mean? Bang, the bullet shatters the apple into pieces. Marcus goes deathly pale, collapsing backward into his chair. A very dark stain spreads across his trousers. Leo, I'm calling the cops, Marcus shrieks, completely losing his mind. You're threatening me, Leo asks him calmly. Damn right I'm threatening you, Leo nods slowly. Yeah, I am. He sweeps his cold gaze across the room. Marcus trembles with pure rage. You want to play tough guy? When I built my empire from nothing, you were just a fetus. The other tycoons mutter in agreement. Yeah, do not push us around. Leo doesn't even blink. He signals Blake, who hands him a medical diagnosis report. He tosses it right onto the table in front of Marcus. Read it. Marcus glances at the paper and every drop of color drains from his face. Patient Leo, diagnosis: terminal cancer, less than 1 month, and it has the official stamp of the city hospital. Today I came here alone, Leo says softly, picking up his phone, dialing 911, putting it on speaker. Then he presses his gun back against Marcus's sweating forehead. But I am more than happy to drag every single one of you down to hell with me. You and I could literally hear the nervous sweat dripping off Marcus's chin. 911, emergency, the operator's voice echoes from the phone. Marcus totally panics, snatching the device and ending the call. Sorry kid, playing, my mistake, Marcus squeaks. Leo smirks. I don't have much time and I have zero patience. He wipes a drop of blood from the corner of his mouth. You thought the diagnosis was fake. Well, this bullet is very real. Leo pulls out revolver, loads a single bullet, spins the cylinder, puts it to his own head, and pulls the trigger 6 times in rapid succession. Click, 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 click. Click, click. He's a lunatic, Marcus gasps, collapsing right out of his chair. All the other businessmen are trembling in pure terror. A man with absolutely nothing to lose is the most dangerous creature on earth. You have 2 choices, Leo tells them calmly. Sign the contract or you leave in a bag. Marcus completely lost his nerve. He panicked, hands trembling violently. The man grabbed a pen and quickly signed his contract, stamping his thumbprint down. Seeing their strongest ally fold so easily, the other terrified executives did not dare resist. They rapidly signed everything away. Thank you for cooperating. Our guy casually tossed the documents to Blake, raising his weapon toward the ceiling chandelier. He pulled the trigger. Bang! Shattered glass rained down everywhere. Several businessmen shrieked and completely blacked out. What happened today stays inside this room, he warned coldly. Otherwise, expect fatal consequences. Terrified suits nodded frantically, scrambling out of the black gold building instantly. They ran like rats abandoning ship. Boss, Claire Lincoln is waiting downstairs. She demands to see Miss Hazel, Blake whispered. Hearing this, he smirked. Send her up, let us watch her try bypassing Hazel. Meanwhile, down in the lobby, Claire paced frantically, calling his number over and over, but the line stayed totally dead. Suddenly, she spotted Marcus and the corporate suppliers stumbling straight out of the nearby elevators. They looked absolutely pale and terrified. Marcus, Director Zio, what are you all doing here? Claire asked, totally bewildered. Oh, President Lincoln, just lunch, we will speak tomorrow. Marcus forced a panicked smile and basically sprinted right out the front doors. The others mumbled quick greetings and bolted. President Lincoln, I will escort you up. A polite receptionist smiled, guiding her toward the elevators. Who exactly is Hazel? Claire finally asked. Miss Hazel manages the entire Black Gold Syndicate, the receptionist smoothly replied. Claire felt her stomach drop. A terrible feeling instantly washed over her. They arrived on the 11th floor. The receptionist gently knocked on the massive double doors. Enter, Hazel called out coldly. Claire pushed the heavy doors open, walking inside with wide, disbelieving eyes. This is impossible, absolutely impossible. Hazel sat behind a giant mahogany desk, casually reviewing important files. With a perfectly neutral expression, this corner office was insanely luxurious, easily putting Claire's own Lincoln International executive suite to absolute shame. Manager Hazel, you hid your true status perfectly, Claire stated, slowly walking Toward the desk, initially skeptical, seeing this massive office completely confirmed her worst fears. Get this, barely any offices like this existed in the entire city. Me hiding. Hazel glanced around her spacious corporate room, then coldly smirked. You were just blind. Claire stiffened. She realized Hazel definitely still held a grudge over Leo getting kicked out. I will not deny my past mistakes. Admitting your blindness, good for you, Hazel openly mocked. Claire leaned against the wooden desk, glaring daggers right at her. But you are clearly using Leo. With your shady background, you absolutely do not fit into this corporate world. You must be manipulating him. Hearing this, Hazel froze before bursting into sudden laughter. Manipulating him? Think whatever you want. I am definitely not giving you any satisfying explanation. Claire abruptly stood up and furiously stormed out of the suite. Soon after, a secretary entered. Miss Hazel. Need anything else? No, I am good. Hazel blushed slightly. Are all the employee offices here this huge? Oh, absolutely. Black Gold values its people above everything. This is merely a standard room. The secretary smiled and vanished. Hazel sat there completely bewildered. What do you guys think? Is there really a company that treats its staff this well? Downstairs, Claire slipped back into her car, face completely pale. She called Tracy. Tracy, get to Harry's apartment right this second. See if they're hiding something. I just refuse to believe Hazel is the actual mastermind here. She hung up, leaning back in her seat, chest heaving. The long-term side effects of those sleeping pills were finally starting to kick in. She shut her eyes tight, desperately forcing herself to stay calm. Meanwhile, over at the apartments, Tracy stood outside Harry's door. This was her third time visiting. The first time she had fought with Leo. The second time she caught him digging through the trash. Knock, knock. Harry opened up, seeing Tracy. He instantly tried to slam it shut. Uncle Harry, it's me. Tracy held the door open, forcing a patient tone. Last time was just a misunderstanding. I'm here to apologize. After a tense pause, Lily pulled the door wider, smiling warmly. Come in. Tracy. She walked right in, scanning the room. The apartment was super cramped. The furniture was ancient. These guys were clearly barely scraping by. But then her eyes locked onto the dining table. Black abalone, Australian lobster. Wait, these were the exact leftovers Hazel had brought back. Did Hazel buy this? Harry just shrugged casually. We poor folks don't care much about fancy presentation. Tracy's heart absolutely hammered against her ribs. How could Hazel, a totally broke college kid, afford this level of crazy luxury? Her suspicions were totally confirmed. Storming out, Tracy called Claire immediately but got zero answer. Moments later, a group notification popped up in the Lincoln sisters chat. Claire Lincoln was just in a massive car crash. Tracy completely panicked. She immediately ordered her team to track Leo's phone's GPS. Now you and I need to check on Leo. He sat alone on a leather sofa. Right in front of him sat a glass spiked with a terrifyingly heavy dose of a powerful aphrodisiac. After getting kicked out by the Lincolns, Leo had learned one harsh truth. In this messed up world, you can only rely on yourself. Give up and you might as well just lie down and fade away. Before the old man died, he left Leo Harry's address, hinting at some huge secret. Hazel possessed an extreme yang constitution, while Leo suffered from extreme yin. They completely failed to balance each other. But the old man had researched Leo's cold poison for years, leaving behind a completely bizarre treatment method. Like that glass in front of him, for anyone normal it was a heavy-duty aphrodisiac. For Leo, pure life-saving medicine. Whenever his icy poison pain became unbearable, the old man made him drink this to trigger heavy sweating, temporarily suppressing the lethal venom. Yeah, the side effects were super obvious. But he didn't have a choice. Suddenly, the VIP room door violently burst open. Leo Valerie, rocking a skimpy gold slip dress, stormed right into the room. Her face was flushed bright red with pure anger. Did you call the psych ward and lock me up? I did, Leo admitted completely calmly. But you really don't look like a proper lady right now. A lady, Valerie totally exploded. You have the nerve to mention that. I used to be an elegant artist. Now my entire family thinks I'm a massive joke. Because of you, Claire just got into a car crash because of you, you ungrateful. Snake. Leo closed his eyes, letting her vent it out. You played the victim, you manipulated Claire. You made me the absolute villain of the family, Valerie practically screamed. We raised you for a whole decade, and this is what we get. I told you, our ties are completely cut, Leo replied coldly. Valerie furiously gritted her teeth, looking like she was gulping hard. You and I watch her finally drop to her knees, eyes pleading. Fine, we will settle scores later, but Claire's insomnia is literally killing her, and now she is hospitalized from a nasty crash. Do you really not care? Is she dead yet? Leo asks flatly. You. Valerie points right at him, literally trembling with rage. Leo, that's your sister. How can you wish her dead? Leo just smirks. Not dead yet. Shame, he was totally going to buy a funeral wreath just to score a free meal. You animal. Valerie completely loses it. You absolute psycho. Are you done yet? Leo sighs, totally bored. I will curse you until the day I die. Her throat is raw from screaming. She grabs the medicine glass on the table, downing the whole thing in one massive gulp. Wiping her mouth, she glares right at him. Leo, what will it take for you to save Claire? Valerie, you had better go home and lock your door. Leo stares at her with pure pity. Otherwise, you are going to seriously embarrass yourself. What are you saying? Valerie starts to yell but freezes. A bizarre, heavy heat suddenly spreads deep inside her chest. Her cheeks flush dark crimson, and her breathing quickly grows heavy and ragged. A few seconds later, her eyes widen in sheer horror. You drugged the water? No, you drugged yourself. Leo corrects her with an icy smile. Valerie stumbles backward, leaning hard against the sofa, desperately trying to fight off the overwhelming, burning heat surging right through her veins. Suddenly, she lunges forward, grabbing his shirt. Leo, if you just save Claire tonight, I will do whatever you want. Valerie, get off. He violently shoves her away. Honestly, you are not his type at all. You. Valerie is furious, her mind clouded by the drug. She lunges right at him again, wrapping her arms tight. Who do you think you are? Guy's line up just to look at me. You dare reject me? Boom, the heavy door is kicked open. Now watch this with me. Tracy stands in the doorway, face pale, radiating murderous intent. Leo, you animal. She stares in absolute horror at the messy scene. Valerie, known for being so pure and innocent, is practically throwing herself at him in a skimpy little dress strap slipping off her shoulders. Are you even human? Tracy screams loudly, raising her hand to slap him. Smack. Leo catches her wrist before it even gets close. What are you doing? Looking to join in? He asks, his own heart pounding slightly to mask the surprise. Do not play games with me. Tracy rips her hand right away. Just take your embarrassing sister to the hospital. Leo shoves her away coldly. When she finally sobers up, ask her what actually happened here. You are not a man. Valerie shrieks, completely out of her mind now. Tracy struggles to restrain her. Valerie, put your clothes back on right now. Tracy is full-on panicking. The most important thing is getting Valerie out of there to figure out what Leo actually did to her. Let go of me, Tracy. Stop acting so pure and innocent. Valerie babbles deliriously. I know you used to totally peek at Leo in the shower. You are the biggest pervert of us all. Leo stops dead in his tracks, turning to look at Tracy in total, absolute disbelief. What are you looking at? She is delirious. Tracy's face quickly turns bright tomato red. Who would ever want to peek at you? Keep your insane drama away from me. Leo slams the heavy door and walks right out of the bar. You bastard. Tracy stomps her foot in pure rage. You think you are untouchable because you clung to Hazel? Just wait. She turns her frustration onto Valerie now. You always somehow find a way to make huge messes. Now stick with me. At the syndicate, Hazel finishes her first day of work and happily skips right out of the building. As she crosses out on the street, a black sedan hits the gas, speeding toward Hazel. Freezes, her eyes wide with panic. She tries dodging, but it is moving way too Fast, boom, a massive Range Rover completely T-bones that sedan, sending it spinning across the intersection. Hazel is absolutely terrified, her heart pounding. Her legs are total jelly as she scrambles onto the sidewalk. Blake hops out of his SUV, glaring at the wrecked car, still breathing in. There, he drags the bleeding driver out, tossing him into the trunk of the SUV. Boss, someone tried to run over Miss Hazel, Blake reports into his earpiece. Come down to the basement. Someone actually dared to touch his people. You and I know they are dead meat, down in the underground bunker of this black gold building. That bloody driver gets strapped to a metal chair. Rows of men in black suits stand in dead silence. The air is freezing. Leo walks in, standing in front of the driver. Who sent you? The guy reeks of booze. No one, he wheezes. Just a drunk accident. Leo checks his phone, totally unamused. I hate liars, he glares at him. I'm not lying, I swear. The driver avoids his icy glare. Let him go, Leo orders. Blake is confused but quickly unties the heavy ropes. The driver weeps with absolute joy. Thank you so much. He stands up to leave. Whack, a steel pipe brutally slams into his kneecap. The driver shrieks and instantly collapses. I hate people who play me, Leo says, dropping the pipe. Bring her in. A side door opens and a woman is dragged inside, trembling uncontrollably. My wife. The driver panics, trying to crawl toward her, but that shattered knee keeps him grounded. Your wife has terminal cancer, maybe 1 month left. Leo crouches down, staring him dead in the eye. And you decided to use that time to murder a 20-year-old girl. Leo stands back up, his voice turning to pure ice. You have a son, right? The driver's eyes fill with absolute terror. It was Kevin Lincoln. He paid me. He even told me to buy arsenic. Leave my son out of this. Leo pulls out his phone and dials 911. Everything you just said, repeat it to the cops. Yes. Yes, I will. The driver nods frantically. 911, what is your emergency? The operator answers. I want to report Kevin Lincoln for contract murder. The driver screams into the phone. Leo walks outside, looking up at the sunset. His mind snags on one specific, chilling detail. That driver mentioned arsenic. Kevin ordered him to buy arsenic. Boss, do you mean? Blake realizes it at the exact same time. Go dig up the old man's grave, Leo orders, his heart sinking into an abyss. Old man Lincoln had always been incredibly healthy. Total master of holistic medicine. You thinking what I am thinking? There has to be reason. Meanwhile, at the city hospital, Claire sits on a bed, bandages wrapped around her head, slowly eating porridge being spoon-fed by Rachel. Across the room, Grace is still comatose, receiving liquid nutrition. On the other side, Valerie is lying in bed, drenched in sweat, tossing and turning in a totally delirious state. Leo, you cannot handle me, Valerie mumbles in her sleep. Are you even a man? Let's see who gives up first. Her wild mumbling makes everyone else in the room blush furiously. That bastard, be gentle, you are hurting me. Valerie's voice grows quieter. The whole room turns completely red. Seriously, nobody expected the innocent seventh sister to have such a wild subconscious eldest sister, and you called me the crazy one. Tracy coughed awkwardly, trying to break the heavy tension. Just shut up, Claire snapped with a flushed face. Someone shut her up right now. Eldest sister, are you just trying to convince yourself here? Tracy teased. But before Tracy could say more, her phone buzzed. What? Say that again. Tracy's face instantly dropped into pure, unfiltered horror. Are you completely sure? Yes, he is my brother. You guys must have made a huge mistake. She listened for a second, then click. Tracy, what is happening? Claire wiped her mouth, feeling a massive spike of panic. Did something terrible happen to Leo? Her chest tightened. She kept having these horrible nightmares of Leo completely battered and broken. Knowing even a little bit of the truth had her absolutely drowning in regret, but she could not confess to her sisters. If they actually found out the truth about Kevin, it would totally shatter the family. Eldest sister, why do you keep asking about Leo? Tracy gave her a crazy look. You almost died in a car crash and he never even called. Why care about that backstabbing stray dog anyway? Look, just tell me what that call was about, Claire snapped, suddenly standing up. Nearly losing her balance. Our brother is in huge trouble, Tracy mumbled, looking at her phone. Which brother? Claire was so stressed her brain totally shorted out the words. Eldest sister, we only have one real brother, Tracy practically shouted. Kevin is involved in a murder-for-hire plot. They are investigating him now. Murder. Claire gripped the metal stand just to stay upright. What? You are police. Do something. The investigators just called me. They are already at our house. Tracy was pacing around completely panicked. Eldest sister, what do we do? I will go with you. This has to be fake. Claire literally ripped the medical needle right out. Rachel, watch Grace and Valerie. I will call you with updates. Over in the hospital bed, Grace, who had been dead silent, let out a dark, bitter laugh. Second sister, have you realized that ever since Leo left, our family has been totally falling apart? Rachel looked away fast. Grace, do not say that. If Mom or Kevin hear you, they will go crazy. Eldest sister definitely knows some secret. She is hiding from us. Grace stared right into Rachel. Second sister, do you not see it too? Just rest. Rachel turned her back, unable to face her. Now, stick with me here. 3 police cruisers were parked right out front. Several officers were in a massive shouting match with Victoria. I am totally warning you, nobody steps foot in my house. Victoria shrieked just like a complete banshee. My third daughter is a police captain. Want to get fired today? One phone call and you are all suspended. She dramatically clutched her chest. Faking distress. I have a heart condition. If I drop dead, my lawyers will completely bury you. The cops just exchanged tired looks and turned toward a middle-aged man in the lead car. Chief Gao stepped out and walked right up to Victoria. Lady, your son is wanted for an attempted murder plot. This here is a search warrant. Stand back. I do not care about your stupid paper. Victoria literally sat on the pavement, stubbornly crossing her arms. If you want to arrest my boy, you must step over my dead body. Fine. If you want to play rough, we will not be polite. Chief Gao signaled his squad. Move in. Stop. Victoria jumped up fast. I am calling my daughter. You will regret this. Lady, respect the law. Chief Gao frowned deeply. No matter who your daughter is. You and I are diving in. Daughter or not, she is a cop first. Rules apply. Then a sleek Maserati screeches to a complete stop right out front. Claire and Tracy rush outside. Mom, what is happening? Claire demands, her stomach completely dropping at the sight of all that yellow police tape. Chief Gao, Tracy spots her boss and totally deflates. Captain Lincoln, take 2 days of leave. Gao orders. Time to execute this arrest. Warrant, use force if you have to. What are you guys doing? Victoria furiously stomps her feet. Mom, wait, let us just figure this out. Do not make a huge scene. Tracy desperately holds her back. You absolutely useless girl. Victoria fiercely slaps Tracy. You will seriously just watch them arrest your father's only male heir. How do you plan to face your dead father? Not even waiting for a reply, Victoria recklessly storms right inside. Tracy, are you okay? Claire immediately grabs her sister. I am fine. Mom only has one precious son. She is just panicking. Tracy sniffles, holding her red cheek. Go find out what the heck is actually happening, Claire insists. Staying cool, we need facts. A few minutes pass and Kevin gets totally dragged out in shiny steel handcuffs. Big sister, save me. Kevin bawls, his weak legs giving completely out. Leo set me up. I swear it was Leo. He just keeps screaming that name while getting violently shoved into the squad car. Right then, Tracy checks her phone and absolutely freezes in horror. Claire, I just got the official case file. The driver who tried crushing Hazel, he confessed. The real mastermind is Kevin. Tracy sounds terrified. He paid off some terminal cancer patient to fake a drunk driving crash and kill her. The evidence is totally airtight. Claire gasps, cold sweat dropping down her back. Did he do this just for petty revenge on Hazel? She knows exactly how the brutal West Side boss operates. If Kevin crossed the big boss, he is basically a dead man walking. We must find Leo right now. Tracy tightens her fists. If Hazel signs a waiver, Kevin might actually get a lighter sentence. I will track down Hazel, Claire declares. Meanwhile, at Dragon Hill Cemetery, let us check in on Leo. He exits his car in black, marching toward the central tomb. Behind him, dozens of tough guys in suits follow closely, but when he finally reaches the grave, he completely freezes. The vault is smashed. The ashes totally gone. The grave is empty. He whips around, violently grabbing the guard right by the collar. Who the heck was here? Show me the tapes now. I think a guy with a bad limp came by. The guard stammers out. Blake, check those cameras. Leo roars. Right then, Tracy sprints up the path, spotting the wrecked grave. She stops dead in her tracks. Leo, is playing the sugar baby so fun that you literally dug up your own master to please Hazel? Tracy wildly shrieks at him, eyes wide with pure fury. Old man Lincoln raised you, taught you everything. Where are his ashes? Her eyes are bloodshot as she raises a fist and charges at him. Tracy, Leo effortlessly catches her wrist, his deep voice dropping to a terrifyingly deadly calm. In your eyes, I will always be the bad guy, right? No matter what Kevin does, it is my fault. He shoves her back hard, his eyes practically glowing with pure murderous intent. Yes, I scattered his ashes. I am an ungrateful, terrible monster. Are you happy now? He turns around, marching back to the car. Leo, have a clear conscience. I do not owe the heavens or the earth. And I definitely do not owe Lincoln. Why should I explain anything to you? Who are you to demand answers? He climbs into the massive Range Rover. Blake hands him the tablet glowed. On screen, Uncle Harry limped right into the cemetery, taking the ashes. You and I know Leo won't let this slide. Baffling. Boss, what do we do now? Blake asked cautiously. Leo, get out here. Tracy pounded the glass. Explain yourself. Did Hazel frame Kevin? Leo kicked the car door open, sending Tracy stumbling backward. This is my absolute final warning. If you ever disrespect me again, I'll send you to see the old man myself. Then smack. Leo slapped Tracy right across her face. Remember that. He climbed back inside. Tracy stood there crying, pulling out her phone with trembling hands. Eldest sister, Leo dug up Dad's grave. He hid the ashes and he hit me. What? He dug it up. Claire, currently waiting right outside the beautiful view apartments, was absolutely stunned. Are you sure? He admitted it. I saw him at the broken tomb. Tracy sobbed uncontrollably. Go to the police station. Figure out what's happening with Kevin. Claire rubbed her temples, a massive migraine suddenly kicking in. Don't worry about the dead right now. We have to save the living. Okay, be careful. Eldest sister, Tracy warned before hanging up. He's lost his mind. He's totally ruthless now. 10 minutes later, Leo's Range Rover convoy pulled up to the apartment complex. Claire was standing dead center in the road, blocking his car. Leo, does Kevin's arrest have anything to do with you? She asked, her eyes sharp. The driver hit my girl. I told him to call the cops, so yes. Leo didn't bother hiding it at all. Claire looked utterly shocked. Leo, how could you? He's the old man's only biological son. I know he caused trouble, but the old man raised us, taught us everything. Do you have no heart? Leo just laughed coldly. You know what he did? If I was the one who hired a hitman for Kevin, what would you do to me? Claire was completely speechless. Now watch this. She actually drops to her knees right on the cold asphalt. I'm begging you. I know I wronged you. She knelt, her voice completely breaking. But what's done is done. Leo stared down, totally unmoved. If you let Kevin go, I'll do absolutely anything to make it up to you, she pleaded. You know he did it, and now you want to throw a pity party. Leo sneered. I don't need your pity, and I don't need your compensation. Leo, I don't want anything from you people. Leo brutally cut her off, signaling the driver to keep moving. Leo, Claire screamed, scrambling up to her feet, totally desperate to keep him from leaving. If you just acknowledge me as your sister, you'll always be my brother. He didn't even blink. What a great sister. Tell me, Claire, if someone hired a hitman to kill your girlfriend, what would you do? Claire hesitated. I'd make sure he rotted in prison, but since it's Kevin, you're on your knees begging. Leo smiled. Absolutely. Ruthless, you Lincoln sisters are all the exact same, complete hypocrites. He rolled the window up. Drive, Leo, please. Claire literally threw herself right in front of the bumper. If you don't agree, just run me over. She was actually using her life as leverage. Leo didn't tell his driver to stop. The guy slammed on the gas. Heavy tires screeched as the massive SUV surged aggressively forward. At the last possible millisecond, Claire threw herself aside, tumbling insanely hard across the rough pavement. Her arms were scraped up and bleeding. Sitting by the curb, she sobbed uncontrollably. Suddenly, her phone rang. Eldest sister, I checked. Tracy's voice shook with fear. Kevin really did hire a hitman. He wired the cash to a terminal cancer patient. The paper trail is totally solid. He's guilty, but Hazel is fine. If we get her to sign a waiver of forgiveness, they might just reduce his sentence. Go home and comfort Mom, Claire says numbly, hanging up. Meanwhile, inside Harry's apartment. Uncle Harry, I need to ask you something. Leo drops his phone on the table. The screen, dead giveaway, security footage from the cemetery cameras. Please don't lie to me, I need the truth. Brother Leo, what's wrong? Hazel asks, completely confused. Hazel, take your mother into the bedroom. Harry glances at the photo, then straight back at Leo. Once they leave, Harry lights a cigarette. I didn't steal those ashes just to spite the Lincolns. If that's what you're thinking, go ahead, hit me. You are a terrible liar, Uncle Harry. Leo leans forward. What is the truth? Harry takes a long drag, crushing out his cigarette. Leo, there are things I have to tell you now. Brace yourself. He pulls Leo out into the hallway, staring down at the busy street below. Hazel is not my biological daughter. What? Leo narrows his eyes sharply. You have an extreme yin constitution. She possesses an extreme yang constitution. Harry sighs heavily. She, just like you, was adopted by Mr. Lincoln. What else do you know? What exactly was my master's relationship with me? Leo steps backward. Stick with me. These mysteries are literally piling up now. Do not tell Hazel about this. Harry looks completely heartbroken. I raised her since she was 1. She's my daughter in every way that matters. I was just a servant to Mr. Lincoln. He intended for you and Hazel to grow up together, but then Kevin tried to assault her. Victoria hated me for reporting it, so I grabbed Hazel and ran. He pauses. As for the ashes, 3 days before he died, Mr. Lincoln came to me personally and gave me strict orders to scatter them. He was perfectly healthy that day, but he acted like he knew he was going to die. Mr. Lincoln gave me a second chance at life. I promised to fulfill his final wish, no matter what. Harry pulls a sealed envelope from his shirt and hands it over. Leo tears it open. I, Arthur Lincoln, have lived a free life. I detest complicated rituals. My ashes are to be scattered by Harry per my instructions. Do not make things difficult for him. Tears blur Leo's vision. He grips the letter tightly. Massive storm of emotions raging inside him. Mr. Lincoln guessed the sisters would find out eventually, so he left this letter. Harry pats his shoulder. Leo, just stay here with us, live a peaceful life. He smiles bitterly. I am just a useless old man. Extreme yin, extreme yang. I don't understand any of it, but I think Mr. Lincoln was trying to accomplish something massive, and he failed. I don't know what he was protecting. I do remember when he was young, he lived in a simple thatched hut on a mountain. The nicest room inside was dedicated to a single memorial tablet. Whose tablet? Leo asks intensely. I think it said Master Li Sheen. Harry shakes his head slowly. It was too long ago. I can't remember clearly. Li Sheen, the name feels familiar to Leo, but he can't place it. That's all I know. Harry coughs roughly. Mr. Lincoln is gone. No one knows the answers. I don't even know your true parentage. Thank you, Uncle Harry. Leo smiles bitterly. The past doesn't matter. We keep looking forward. Harry coughs again, limping right back inside. Now you and I are probably thinking the same thing here. How many secrets did the old man actually have? He took all those answers to his grave. Why stay in the city? Is Leo really just a nobody? Our MC scoffs at himself, a huge surge of anger and pure defiance. Was he just gonna let everyone else decide his fate? No way. He walked Downstairs, dialing Blake immediately. Check those cameras. 3 days before the old man died. Who did he meet? Where did he go? He demanded a full report. He might not be able to beat the heavens themselves, he thought, but he refused to lose completely in the dark. Understood, boss, Blake replied. Oh, and by the way, Cole's club got completely smashed. Up this morning, any idea who? Our MC laughed coldly. The Black Snake, obviously. The Southside boss was dead, and every other faction in the city was starting to get restless. Blake sounded seriously annoyed. Cole just called. The Black Snake crew kidnapped his son to force a massive betrayal. He unbuttoned his collar, a dark, cruel smirk forming. Perfect timing, honestly. He had so much pent-up rage right now and nowhere to unleash it. Wipe them out tonight. If a single factory on the south side was still operating by tomorrow morning, Blake could go buy his very own coffin at Dragon Hill, he ordered coldly. Blake's eyes practically glowed with pure, unadulterated bloodlust. Through the phone, he laughed, just waiting for the word boss.